on, them children ain't gonna have no kind of protection against that shit. Now, why? Now, why y'all got this? There it is, right there. If I can just share.
Hi, Protein. In the last 5 years,
Oh, I see you brought your ass here. Who the hell are you? Let's Make America Great Again, Trump supporters. How the fuck did you find my channel? And who the hell sent you? Kathy Quay? Who the fuck are you and why the hell are you here? Say your piece right now before I say mine. Oh, honey, I don't think you even want to bring your motherfucking ass on here. Not tonight. You've been waiting on. Let me go on and say what you got to say. I'm on another tab right now, but I will be back. Because to think about it, your motherfucking ass been waiting on me? Oh, so y'all been waiting on me to come back? I best to close this tab out. You been waiting on me to come on to say fucking what? Say your piece now, Kathy Quay. You on here with that Trump bullshit? I was trying to see if his motherfucking ass really did remove Martin Luther King from the Oval Office. Y'all motherfucking asses letting that man do that bullshit like y'all don't know what's going on. You know exactly. Say your piece while you here, Kathy. While you got your motherfucking ass on here, you definitely in the wrong motherfucking room. If you didn't know, don't come in here with that Trump supporting bullshit. Matter of fact, ain't nothing here for you. It might be tonight. You might get something out of this tonight, Kathy. But shut your motherfucking mouth if you ain't got nothing to say while I'm giving you the chance. While I'm giving your ass the chance. I know y'all motherfuckers ain't waiting on me to come on so you can skip your tailless ass over here with your bullshit on my channel. What the fuck is y'all out looking for us? Looking for us so your ass can have something to do. Is that it? You don't care what kind of attention it is, long as you get some kind of attention. Well, honey, you gonna get it tonight. This little slap on the wrist that Robin DiAngelo gonna give you. You gonna get this tonight. But other than that, I prefer your ass just catch this on the fly. You know, I really don't even want you here. I don't know why my ancestors got me reading this, but it was after we had read Michael Eric Dyson. So it is fitting that y'all asses hear what the fuck y'all motherfucking clan sisters have done. I'm sure you know. I'm sure your motherfucking ass know. Cause see, you the one that's out here hunting, looking for whoever talking about what your clan sisters done did instead of trying to solve this problem that's been going on in this country for goddamn it too long. Now you done brought your rabbit ass on my channel. Looking for some attention. Talking about Trump. Trump gonna lead all y'all motherfuckers right to hell. You gonna fuck yourself up before Mother Gaia get rid of all of y'all. That's what you gonna do. Because your asses, y'all goddamn asses, you ain't nothing. You ain't no goddamn good. Y'all ain't no good. Everything that you done projected on my people, honey, what your people, what your clansmen done sat here and did, you a new type of species. You a motherfucking new goddamn it type of species. Don't nobody know. You play real good. You pretend real goddamn good. But now it's time, goddamn it, tell it. What the fuck are you? What the fuck is this? What is all of this? Since you here, you got some explaining to do. We can't tolerate you no more. You done did the most y'all gonna do to my people. And then under this illusion that you're human, that you're kind, that you got empathy, compassion for anybody on this planet, not even the animal kingdom, not even the innocent animals. Way out there, way over there on their own. Y'all off in there. The marine life. Y'all off in there. You done butchered Mother Earth. Now you done found your goddamn way here to my channel. For what? Is what I want to know. Because you ain't got nothing for us. And I doubt If you want anything, that's for you. Because you knew all about this. Y'all knew all about this, white folks. You knew every goddamn thing. You were just hoping and playing along that black folk didn't know. You got your docile family out there. And they keeping their illusion going. While y'all motherfuckers like you is out there raising hell. That's what the fuck you're doing. Yeah, I ain't got no mercy for you. I ain't got no mercy, no forgiveness for y'all ass, no sympathy, no understanding. Ain't no understanding. What's to understand? Me and my people at this point of getting the hell away from y'all. Letting y'all do y'all, Kathy. Let y'all do y'all. Go about your business. After this right here, you ain't trying to make no atonements. Ain't no sister nothing. You better say what you got to say in them texts so I can read it before I get started. Because I'm gonna talk to you and you need to be able to listen. But what's to understand about y'all? What is this? What you talking about? Is this what your motherfucking ass come on here to brag about, Kathy? Is that why you brought your crunchy ass on here to brag about? Making America great again. Great for who? I want to know. You see everything your Trumpster is taking. You see everything you taking from my people. Everything we done built, done worked for, done been fair with y'all motherfuckers. We done been so goddamn fair and tolerable, forgiving with y'all. We done sacrificed everything for y'all motherfucking asses. And what do? What the fuck do? You sit there and choose a man that's finna run mankind, that's y'all asses, and humanity. The animal kingdom, everything, life itself, finna go right to ground, right to hell. Right to hell. Life as we know it is over. Because y'all motherfuckers, you ain't never want to do right. You ain't never want to do right. I know your motherfucking ass knew, Kathy, that some extreme measures need to be taken on your part. So see, why all of y'all, you finally feeling like you done found your way. And you got that man in there where he can call what y'all want again, but it'll never be this again, honey. It will never be this again. Y'all better get your shit right, Kathy. You really don't even need to hear. We need to know. This is to y'all, but you don't need to hear it here. I ain't got the patience or the tolerance for you. I just want my people to know that you have had opportunities after opportunity, chance after chance. You have made routes, avenues where you could have addressed this, made some atone for this, for my people and for yours. But y'all motherfuckers, you keep trying to keep your funneling fathers alive. You keep trying to keep white stupidity alive. And you ain't done this planet no good. You ain't done it no good. I ain't got no patience for y'all. I'm just here to read to my people. I'm barely trying to get through this slap on the wrist to y'all motherfucking asses. Because I can't tolerate you, honey. No, y'all want to make it seem like y'all is sick of us. Oh, no, honey. Y'all ass is sick, all right. Y'all motherfucking is sick because you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know if you'll ever be able to enslave and control and just lash and let all your rage out on, because it's over. It's over with. And you know you don't have nothing to offer life. You ain't got nothing to offer life. What, some motherfucking 5G towers? Some goddamn 5G towers. Some deadly ass vaccines that's causing people to just drop dead suddenly. Just drop dead. Healthy people. Wasn't nothing wrong with them. Just trusting. Y'all motherfucking asses. Your brothers. Them is your brothers calling the shots out there. Out there raising hell. Running America, done ran America into the ground. Right to hell. Taking it straight to hell in a basket. Well, all I got to say is Black America, get your black ass off. It's time for us to cut our ways with white America. We can't deal with, I don't know if my people don't want to come out and say it, but I will. I will motherfucking say it. Because y'all asses, somebody else got to take care of you, white America. Somebody else got to make sure Ensure that your ass is comfortable. You feel safe, because we don't want to have nothing to do with you. We ain't thinking about y'all goddamn asses. You've done enough. We got enough to repair within ourselves, our communities, our families, our neighborhoods. We ain't got communities no more. Thanks to y'all asses. Thanks to y'all motherfucking ass. We ain't got communities no more. We ain't got families no more. We barely got sanity dealing with y'all asses. So yeah, you came at the wrong time. You probably should have shut your damn mouth. You shouldn't have typed nothing when you came in here. Because I know you know where you at. But see, yeah, I'm going cool. I'm cool now. Now that I know y'all motherfucking asses is out there all year. Face got something to say. I goddamn it do got something to say. And your motherfucking ass here, you gonna goddamn it listen. Or take your funk ass somewhere with somebody that gives a damn. Because see, I don't. I'm not politically correct for y'all goddamn asses. I'm not. And I probably never will be. I ain't editing a goddamn thing on my channel right here. If they goddamn it take it off, so fucking what? You know how I feel. You know how I feel when this right here come up. When it's time, we at the park with the grandbabies. You gonna slide with the grandbabies. You at your game and stuff. You gonna root for your teams and stuff. You gonna do what you do. This right here, what I do. Every time you see me. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Sure don't, honey. You got some fixing to do. We can't heal you no more. We can't heal you. We can't even put forth the effort. We can't give you nothing no more. You've lost us completely, white America. Y'all have lost us. We're done with y'all. Take your threats and take your thumping. Take your goddamn thumping and your threats and get gone. Get gone. Find you another victim out of all these groups of people that you got here claiming to be white. Go get one of them. We done. You ain't got to worry about us. You ain't got to worry about black dominance, black excellence. Because we ain't going to hurt you. We ain't going to hurt y'all. You better stay in your place, though. And other people, whoever they finna come for and try to enslave and oppress, I suggest you better cut your losses, cut them off. Ain't nothing white America got for you that's gonna benefit you. Nothing. Even having that classification, white, Caucasian, however the fuck they done labeled you and classified you, you know it's a lie. It ain't serving you no benefit, just setting you up to kiss white America ass, and that's what you shall do. Because we ain't doing it no more. Fuck y'all. Fuck the dumb shit. Yeah, I was wondering, I'm going to finish this book tonight. I actually saw myself reading more than 2 chapters. And who the fuck is this? Can't even say. Who is it? Who is it? Well, I don't know. But yes, honey. Oh, my ancestors. Yes, I need patience tonight. Ancestors. Yeah, we're going to do this, though. We're going to do this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my ancestors. Right here, all of them. Yeah, we here now. Yeah, I'm wondering, shall we read a little bit? Yeah, let's read a little bit. Let's read a motherfucking little bit. Just a little bit, ancestors. I ain't gonna go there. I'm just gonna read a little bit so you can know, Kathy, since you here. We're gonna get back to white fragility and all your white innocence and your white guilt and all that shit. We're gonna get to that. But yeah, let's just go back a little bit. Let's go back to what you see and what I see. All right. Now, this will involve your ancestors and my ancestors. That's all in this book. It's the truth. Oh, yeah, this is my Bible right here. See, my people don't know. We got our own Bibles. We don't need yours no more. Yeah, this right here done have my people forgiving and forgetting for so long. Yep. Oh, you got your ass on here with that dumb shit, huh? Who is this? The police bitch keep fucking with me, bitch. Oh, yeah, I see your ass. You want to be just like your Bitch, Kathy Quay. I ain't got to look you up, motherfucker. You brought your tired ass here. You brought your motherfucking ass here. Now, if you got something to say, then say it. But don't be coming on here with that bullshit. Don't be coming on here with that bullshit. For fucking what? What? You got a problem, Kathy? Your motherfucking ass got, the world is literally on goddamn fire. Your America, your goddamn Babylon is crumbling. It's falling. Going to hell, and you got your motherfucking ass on my channel. Yeah, let's read just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's see exactly why you brought your ass here. I'm sure. Oh, please, ancestors. Don't let nobody be no integrated into this woman family. Because they don't even have no idea who the fuck they done got involved with. I don't, and I don't give a damn. See, that's why I tell you, Black America, stay the fuck away from white folks. Quit getting married with them, having babies with them, because you don't know they cousins. You don't know they great aunties. This woman is somebody's great auntie, somebody's sister. Ask some questions, okay? Everything is being revealed now. Y'all know the history. You know the history. If you don't, your ass finna learn it, Black America. Because what the fuck white folks got to be pissed off for? What the fuck do white folks have? Your ass done sat here and destroyed from hither to there of the world. The only incidents in the world that I know are untouched is way out in the ocean where your ass can't get to it, like the Senegalese. Your ass try to cross that water and get to the Senegalese, they gonna shoot a bow and arrow and kill y'all asses. Them the only spots that ain't been devastated by y'all. So why you got your ass here? Why this woman got her ass here? Bothering me. Don't want us to learn about my ancestors. Oh yeah, ancestors, you can step forward on this one right here. Yes. Oh, y'all. Yeah, let me magnify this right here because I think I'm good to go now. Honey, I don't know what else you got to say, but go on and put it in the chats and shit because how it'll show up for everything else, this will too, and I'll look at it later. But yes, yeah, family. Oh, wow. Yeah, your ass came from a long way with this bullshit. This what the fuck y'all asses doing out here still terrorizing Black folks and act like y'all goddamn asses is so lovey-dovey and peaceful and kind, honey. Black America, they motherfucking asses ready to go cannibal style on y'all asses again. Animals, real animals in the world, in the wild. Ain't got nothing on cannibals. You trying to go back, be like your ancestors, your clan ancestors, honey. Animals, this planet, you done destroyed everything. You done destroyed everything. You done fucked it up. Life itself. You done literally fucked up life. Don't be mad at me. Don't motherfucking be mad at me. Be mad at your clan ancestors. God damn it. For all the shit they done did. John Hartfield. 10,000 white folks. Pregnant white folk. Old ass white folk. Barely can walk. Pregnant white folk damn near in labor. Marching their ass. Walking to the lynching. To see John Hartfield. He didn't even do nothing. It was another white man. A white man found out to have committed all these crimes and shit. But your ass is blamed it on Black men. So what happened was at least 10,000 white folk came from everywhere, Black people. Black people, they came from everywhere. See, we don't know. We got to start asking some questions. I'm not your enemy, Black America. I love you. I love us. I love our ancestors. I do. I love our ancestors. I love us. I love our babies. I love us. White America done did all this shit to us, done traumatized us so much. So 10,000 white folks came from all of the NAACP knew and the town officials knew. The governor knew. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing. Honey, look, white men in suits and shit just coming out of church and shit. They get out of church. White men don't even go change clothes and stuff, honey. They get right back on the hunt. Yep. That's how they called Mary Turner. As soon as they got out of church, well, we got to finish this hunt. 8-month pregnant Black woman. Hunted that woman down, hung her upside down, beat her, kicked her, spit on her, scratching her, all kind of shit, pissing on her. Cut that woman baby out of her stomach. cut that lady's baby out of her stomach. So I ask you, what the fuck is y'all even thinking about to still keep in this grudge against my people when we ain't never done nothing to y'all goddamn asses? But back to John Hartfield, all them 10,000 white folks. I ain't even telling my people to, to try to get, vengeance ain't ours. Vengeance belongs to my ancestors. It's too late. It's too late for all of that. Vengeance for this right here. Now, all we got to do is get the fuck away from white America, black America. That's all I'm saying. I'm not inciting y'all to be violent or nothing like that, honey, because I'm not no violent person. Show away, honey. You don't owe white America a goddamn thing. You sure don't. You don't owe to speak to them, to work with them. Go get you a job with some black people if you want to. I'm just saying, shit, here, start braiding hair. Shit, I'm saying we don't have to cater to and keep white America comfortable no more. That's why we are learning the extreme measures of this hatred that white America got for us. Now, y'all seen that woman came on here. I didn't need no incitements about how I feel about my ancestors. I don't need no incitements from other folks about how I feel about my ancestors. I sure don't, but that right there, honey, I go from 0 to 100. I won't even touch, goddamn it, 75. Because don't come up in here with this shit right here, because, honey, everybody will be on that ass. Let me go on and read this copyright disclaimer. But let me tell you about John Hartfield, honey. 10,000 white folks in Ellisville and Mississippi, on the outskirts, honey. Don't you know they burned that man's body, piled up wood every time the fire go out? White folks, and set that man's body on fire, burn him at the stake. White kids in the tree. Oh, white folks let school out. Let school out all over the state. White folk coming from everywhere, walking. The pregnant woman damn near in labor and stuff, having Braxton Hicks and shit. Oh, get the wheelbarrow. We passed the wheelbarrow a couple houses back. Go get that wheelbarrow from them. Tell them, come on, get the wheelbarrow. Put her ass in the wheelbarrow. Roll her ass up to the lynching. That's what you're working with. That's what we're working with. What we've been trying to work with. And to deal with y'all and be tolerable. Forgiving, we ain't even mentioned nothing. We don't even remind y'all motherfucking asses what you did to Emmett Till. We don't remind y'all what you did to Emmett Till. We don't remind you what you did to Medgar, what you did to Mary Turner. We don't remind y'all what you did to nobody. No, because see, black America is sincere. We sincere. We some sincere people. When we said we forgive y'all, we forgave y'all. Yeah, we were going tit for tat. We building this together. Now us. But now, see, y'all motherfucking ass, y'all always manipulative. See, y'all always untrusting to black America. Now it's too goddamn late. We don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Do y'all just do it away from us. Do it away from us. You got other groups of people. You got so many other groups of people. What could you possibly hope to achieve if it ain't healing for yourself and your people by coming around? What you coming around for? What you coming around for? That's what I want to know. Why is you coming around with all this hellishness? See, that's why, yeah, Mother Nature, spirit come through. Mother Nature wants to go all black again. She's sick of y'all. She's sick of white people. Mother Nature, planet Earth is alive. Planet Earth is alive now. Yeah. Right here where I'm at and stuff, y'all, it's a new species or something, some new roots or something like that growing underground. And I think it's been seen in other places, not often. So it ain't really a new species. It's just like it ain't a normal thing, occurrence and stuff. It's like some type of phenomenon. But yeah, Mother Earth is ready to get rid of y'all asses and go back to all black because you've destroyed everything. The cosmos, your ass up there probing and shit with your big ass CERN machine and opening portals and shit. Now they got y'all asses thinking you see angel wings in the sky. I seen the video. Got y'all thinking that there's angel wings in the sky, but them is not angel wings. Honey, that's the motherfucking smoke. Remember I was telling y'all the other day about that flood in was it Texas somewhere? There's been another flood too in Mexico somewhere. Well, anyway, the flood was killed a whole lot of people and shit. Devastation. Well, 2 days before that flood, this company called Rainwater, it's a cloud seeding company, and the owner, the founder is, his name is Augustus Dericus or some shit like that. Oh, I apologize, man. No disrespect to you, but yeah, I'm in there now. But he was talking about it, and 2 days before that, he was explaining what they do and stuff. And guess this, check it out. This right here, this rain cloud, this this cloud seeding company is to prevent the scarcity of water for like farms and places that don't have easy access to water. But here they ain't put out nan fire, nan wildfire, ain't shot a cloud no goddamn where, and even put out even the smoke before the wildfire got started and took off. Ain't done nothing, honey. But 2 days before, they shot them clouds up in the sky, and then it rained. All of that rain. In Texas, I guess it was Guadalupe. I don't know where I wrote the notes down there and stuff. But see, I'm just saying that to say that, yeah, it's always some motherfucking devastation behind letting y'all have some type of leeway and some type of ability to, keep life sustaining so that we can have a life on this planet. But now that will never be with y'all asses, because you never want to do right now. Yeah, mankind and humanity is in motherfucking danger because of y'all goddamn ass. But see, Black America, don't worry. Don't you worry, honey. You get yourself right with Mother Gaia, with cosmic energy, all that other bullshit. Yeah, give it back to white folks. Give it back to white folks. Give them their religion back. Give them their education back. This is what we finna learn right here. Oh, yeah, baby. This right here, what we finna be learning about right here. Yeah, see? Kathy is the proof. Kathy is the motherfucking proof. Yep. Kathy came here for this. That's who we talking about, and they were her property. Kathy, white women. Yeah, white women benefited from slavery more than white men did, because white women got the profit. See? They got all the profit. White women got slaves when they were still babies. They were still babies. It's in these books. It's in the books. Yes. White women been the cause of all of this, and Kathy's letting it be known. Add Kathy to Karen. Now you got Kathy, you got Karen. I'm just saying. I'm just motherfucking saying. And Black America, I do talk about Richard Coleman a lot. And since Kathy here, I want her to hear a story and stuff. And I turn right to Richard Coleman. But first, let me get the copyright disclaimer out the way, because you already know I do follow the rules, because I am pro-life. I don't try to do nothing that's against, life and stuff. My mama didn't raise me like that. I actually thought I thought y'all was all right. Y'all had done what you were supposed to do. No, them is y'all sons out there with this bullshit. Yep, sure is. Your brothers, your nephews, your cousins, your neighbors, your grandsons. Wow, you ain't worked on nothing. White America, you ain't worked on a goddamn thing. And Kathy here Kathy and Karen is here to prove it. Yep, all Karen got some back up now, don't she? Copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, goddamn it, this fair use right here. Anything your ass got to say. Oh, yeah, honey, this is fair motherfucking use for us to be done with y'all goddamn asses. You ain't got to waste no more time with white America, with white Jesus no more. This is all white America got on their mind. Yep. Thinking about the past. Want to relive the past. You, Black America, you got kids with them. Who auntie is that? Who auntie is that down the road? She live way over there and shit, but it's still your auntie. Now, she got a little mulatto baby. Got a interracial, something somewhere. See, y'all didn't ask. Well, how's your great auntie? Your great auntie? Tell me about your grandma. What about your granddaddy? Especially if your ass lived in Tulsa. I'm just saying. You ain't ask no questions. No, honey. I mean, look at all of them. Look at all of them. Look, just look at them. You think that went somewhere? Where the fuck did it go? Where did it go? Who got the healing? Who healed? I'm just saying. Because we ain't got no goddamn healing. We ain't got no healing. We ain't got no therapy. We ain't getting no money. We ain't getting no tangibles. We ain't getting no land. We ain't getting our title. We ain't getting nothing. White folks ain't got nothing either. They ain't got no therapy, no healing, no understanding, understanding, nothing. And these young people writing the book. This was what's his name? Cameron McWhirter. His ass the one wrote the book. So yeah, y'all asses knew what your clan ancestors done did. White America knew what your clan ancestors done did, what they been doing, what you're holding on to. You still have just fanciful dreams. Make America great again. Make America great again. And those of you that claim you don't know, what did you chanting Make America Great Again for? Now your ass is out there panicking and stuff because your ass is finna have to work now. They can't make them robots fast enough for white folks. Honey, somebody got to wash these dishes. Somebody got to get in here and change that baby. Oh, they said we weren't going to have to do this too long. But yeah, you're going to have to do it forever. That's part of life. Washing your ass yourself is part of life. I don't know if my ancestors should have left y'all a list of what to do before we left them plantations. But after seeing it all that time, you had enough to know. Yeah, Nanny always wash my legs. I'm just saying. So now, George Fraser said we can't do it. We can't heal you. We can't teach you nothing else. We can't try to show you nothing. You just gonna have to deal with what your clan ancestors have done. You can't get some mercy for yourself. If you do, stand up and say, hey, all of this is wrong. You really are suffocating, killing life itself. I don't know what y'all think the new life is gonna be like, white America. I don't know what you think it's gonna be like, because if anybody finna be up under it and oppressed under this, it's finna be y'all. We finna leave y'all asses with all of this. We going over there. Black America going over there. Yep, you'll be able to see us, maybe even hear us, but we won't be around y'all no more. Don't worry, y'all still have some black people that can't live without y'all motherfucking asses. Don't ask me why. But yeah. Woo-wee. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Yes, honey, I'm in the right fight, ain't I? Yeah, but anyway, back to John Hartfield. So yeah, the governor knew, and the NAACP knew. The kids was in the tree. They hoisted them up. It was like a carnival atmosphere. All of the lynchings, they were massacres. All of these massacres were like a carnival atmosphere. White folk were so happy and gleeful to see a living man hanging and to go up and cut his fingers off and his toes. White folks relished it. You relished it. And now it's back. And all you can do is come out with hatred. All you can still do is come out with hatred. I can't even feel sorry for you. I can't. Hell no, shit. I feel sorry for my ancestors. I feel sorry for my people for even trusting y'all asses. Trusting y'all motherfucking asses. Now, yeah, every motherfucking America finna feel this. Finna feel this oppression. Every goddamn body finna feel this. That's what Martin Luther King was talking about when he told y'all that injustice to one is injustice to all. Y'all thought that man was talking to black folks. Thought that man was talking to black folks. And now, let me see. Did this man remove the Martin Luther King statue from the Oval Office? I was looking at that. That's what I was trying to see, because I had just seen it, honey. For all the motherfucking love. Oh, damn, it won't load. Well, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all, honey, baby child. Well, good day. How are you doing? Surviving sunshine. And who the fuck is your ass? You're racist. Lady, you have a lot of anger built up inside you. You need help, lady. Jesus, please help this lady. Oh, wow, you racist, bitch. You are racist. You're preaching racism. Yes, I'm happy I caught you live again. Who the fuck is you? Surviving Sunshine Morning Row? Goddamn it, I'm not racist. I'm motherfucking suspicious. Y'all motherfucking asses got some goddamn explaining to do. Or explain it to yourselves. Just you got some understanding to do. We done with y'all. We're done with y'all. You came on here. We learning on this channel about your ancestors. I ain't angry. I'm pissed. I'm betrayed by y'all motherfuckers. That's what the fuck I am, honey. I'm not an angry woman. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. But, honey, when I go to my ancestors, when I get to talking about my ancestors and what's done happened to them that I had no idea in, I had no idea, Santa Claus, that your ancestors literally set 14-year-old black boys on fire. Set them on fire. The fire go out. Your ancestors went and piled up more wood and put under little bitty kids. Your ancestors, and then y'all sat here with this smug ass goddamn mentality like you're so good, you're so forgiving, you're so tolerable, like your motherfucking ass ain't got no goddamn, oh yeah. I don't know why your motherfucking ass here. I don't know why, what? She brought you here? She brought you here for what? For what? You want a lesson too? Your ass want to hear too? Well, let's do it then. And it's good to see you, One Box. It is so good to see you, my brother. Yeah, I ain't worried about they motherfucking asses because I'm going to read any goddamn way. I'm going to read any motherfucking way. If your motherfucking ass didn't know, get out the sun so you can listen to it now because you finna know now. You ain't got to sit in the sun just yet. But after this, go get your ass. You in timeout. Go on outside, get your ass in the sun. I'm just saying. But yes, honey, let's get to reading. Let's read. You know, I don't need help, honey. We need to get the fuck away from y'all. That's what the fuck we need. That's what I need. My people need. Everybody need it. Everybody needs to get away from white America. Because, see, now, y'all asses need somebody else to make you feel good. To make you feel like you've earned your right to be called emphatic, to have morals and values. No, you don't. You just pretend like everybody else. You not one time have you tried to right any wrongs that your ancestors have done. So don't come on here trying to tell me that I need help. Oh, honey, you in the wrong motherfucking room for that goddamn shit. I don't need no help, honey. Sure don't. We need to get the fuck away from y'all. That's what's needed. That's what's motherfucking needed. Don't you ever think you can bring your goddamn ass in here and tell me what I need from y'all goddamn asses, honey? No, I ain't bound by your book. Where is it? I'm not bound by your book, your crocodile tears, your innocence. Well, we never did that. We never did those things. I don't know what she's talking about. It's in the book. It's in the books. Y'all goddamn asses. Your ancestors did all of this. Yes, I love it. I love it, honey. I want to cuss so bad right now. I love cussing. I want to cuss y'all asses out, but that'll come later. That'll come, you know, when I just need to release some stuff. I just want y'all to know what it is here. I'm not here to pacify y'all. I'm not here to let my people, I ain't telling them to go out and goddamn it let your motherfucking old white pale ass know. I know what your ancestors did. Tell me about yours. What's your name? Surviving Sunshine Morning Ray. Tell me about yours. I'm not telling my people to go out and tell you, ask you. So tell me what the fuck your granddaddy did. Morning Row. Tell them. You got black friends? Go tell them. Your ass got black friends, don't you? Don't you? But you gonna bring your bitch ass over here and want to tell me that I need help. Go tell your black friends. Go tell your white friends, nah, we ain't done enough. We didn't try to reteach black children after we done sat there and mistaught us our whole history, mistaught us every goddamn thing. You ain't trying to do that, have you? No, you ain't. You just looking, going around sniffing, trying to find anybody to bring up what the fuck your ancestors did. That's what you're doing. That's what all of y'all do. That's what all of y'all motherfucking asses do. Honey, now, I ain't mad at you, though, because now we can really see y'all for what you are. We can really see y'all asses for what you are. And when you left and all of this bullshit that your people, these your brothers, your uncles, that's done did all of this madness and mayhem. That's why America falling right now. Other countries don't want to have nothing to do with America no more because of y'all asses. God damn it, if I had a little bit of ounce of racist power like you did, a little bit of racism in me, honey, I would reach over there and tell everybody in the other countries. I would talk to their head man. And I would let him know where I'm coming from as a black woman and tell him, hey, come and get y'all. Come and get y'all. Y'all the ones that they want. Black America ain't done nothing to nobody. We've been trying to get away from y'all for hundreds of years. I'll be like, Mr. Kimono, you know. We've been trying to get away from white America for hundreds of years. Iran, whoever, Netanyahu, whoever the fuck them folks is, and putting y'all in and all that and style down. Go tell them, look, we've been trying to get away from white America for so long. You can have them. Get us up out of it. Let us get the fuck away. And let us get in our bunkers and shit because we ain't got nothing to do with this. Y'all asses done got the whole world is in shambles. Yeah, this ain't World War III. This goddamn World War 369. This World War 9 we talking about. Y'all asses done did. So don't come on my page with that bullshit because you're looking for somebody to blame. Now your ass is looking for somebody to blame because food ain't finna be so scarce no more. Ain't no more food. Farmers ain't got food no more. How we gonna cultivate this yard? Oh Lord, help me. George Washington Carver, send me that download. How we go ask that black man over there what fertilizer he used. I'm just saying. But you done did this and now we can't trust you. We can't trust you. We gonna have to let this shit fall as it may. Don't be mad at me. Y'all asses mad, black people mad, but don't be mad at face. Do not be mad at me, honey. Why your ass didn't go tell this to Bobby Hemming? Why your ass didn't go tell all this to Amos, Dr. Amos? Why you didn't go tell Dr. Ben this and Dick Gregory and stuff? Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. No, y'all motherfucking ass want to come and tell me. You want to come and find me out and see am I real? Is she real? Is really, I've been hearing about her. I'm gonna wait and see if she coming on. But I didn't come on last night and stuff. No, she didn't come on. Yeah, I'm real. This is too. So let's read. This here, y'all, was New York World. This is 100 Years of Lynching. Thank y'all for offering this, for recommending this book, because I did go get it. And it's by Ralph Ginsberg. And I do want to let you know that if I read multiple accounts of one victim, it's because certain places had more than one newspaper. And see, they would give different accounts on how they were and stuff. Oh, honey, white folks embellish the stories. Like if one story said that he raped a woman, he assaulted a white woman. Another story say that she was pregnant. She was pregnant. She had twins. Another story say that the babies died. So they'll embellish the story and stuff so that they can get more people to the lynchings. They were letting school out all over. Every county around. We letting schools out. The buses was free. The trains was free. Everybody could just come. Gas was free. You got a car and stuff. Yeah, we'll fill you up. Where you going? I'm going to the lynching. Yeah, fill it up. And everybody go to the lynching and stuff. That's how it was. That's how it was. So it ain't just like I just forgave Emmett Till. Because I did forgive Emmett Till. Honey, I forgave everybody that your ancestors took from my people. I forgave everybody that your ancestors took from my people. Ain't even done nothing to y'all. Medgar Evers didn't do nothing to y'all. Was that racist ass man? That's a racist right there. Them is racist people. I'm not racist. I'm just suspicious. Yes, and I got a right to be suspicious. And I got even more right to be pissed off. But I ain't bitter. Oh, honey, no, I ain't bitter. I love life, baby, and the afterlife. That's why I'm here to let my people know. We can't spend our life, no more of this life among y'all, with y'all, because you're showing other things. You finally showing us that, yeah, what you've always shown us, shit. I mean, just because it was a lapse in time, you hid it for a while, but you've always been this way to us. You've always been this way to us. So, yeah, I'm not going to let it motherfucking piss me off and stuff, because I'm still goddamn it betrayed. I'm still motherfucking appalled. When I start reading, oh, yeah, this ain't that. Your ass ain't a goddamn thing. Because, baby, when we do start reading medical opportunities, honey, you ain't saying a goddamn thing. I hope you in the background ain't saying a motherfucking word. When we start reading about the delectable Negro, honey, please, I know how to process this. Spirit come through. Spirit come through. Because, honey, y'all done did too much, white America. You've done too much. I know. You ought to be out there trying to get life back to living again. That's what you ought to be doing. You ought to be out there letting your big brother know that, hey, you going about this all wrong. We don't really want this madness and mayhem, but you want to live forever too, don't you? See, Black America it's all true. Y'all know every time white folks come on here and stuff, they got a problem. And I let them know and let you know too, Black America. I'm not here to divide nobody. Hell, it's already goddamn it been divided. Hell, it ain't never been not divided. White America just kept these secrets from us. So that's why I'm motherfucking pissed. I feel betrayed. I'm appalled that y'all literally, your people literally, and we think Emmett Till was the worst of the worst of the worst. Ain't that what y'all say? Be the best of the best of the best. We think Emmett Till is the worst of the worst of the worst. Oh, honey, no, we got 100 years, and this is just the first book. Imagine what the next 100 years of lynching gonna be like. Did y'all ever intend to try to be sincere with us? When? I'm just saying when. Because you sure not sincere now. You teaching your kids these very same racist ass ideologies. Don't come in here and act like hell I'm the problem. Y'all asses is the problem. Y'all asses is learning. I can't wait till we get this 1,408 pages of the American Dilemma. 1,400 pages on genocide? Who the fuck are y'all? What the fuck do you want? See, nobody lives forever. This is life. Nobody lives forever. All of this, it seems like y'all a new species with all that's being revealed. But still, I'm not telling my people to be violent with y'all and shit. We ain't no violent people. We just need to get away from y'all. If y'all cannot survive without us helping you, being there for you, comforting you, catering to you, and smiling and up in your ass and shit, then that's too bad. Go get somebody else. It's a whole lot of different groups of people here now. And they all love you. They all claim to be white. Pick any one of them would love to cater to y'all motherfucking asses. But as for Black America, we done. We're done, honey. After all of this shit, y'all done put a man in there that's literally done took Martin Luther King out of the Oval Office. What the whole hell do y'all think going on? I mean, I'm just saying. So, yeah, I ain't got no patience for you and stuff here. I really don't, because you got things you can't be doing. You have things you can't be doing. But they see Black America, they bringing their asses here. With all of this bullshit, when they've already done this, we need to see why we can't be with them no more. That's why we reading this. Yeah, we reading this. My ancestors, when I sat down here 8 months ago to realize, to answer, to see for myself why my people can't get along. What the fuck wrong with us? I mean, shit, hell, the world fucked up. And we still can't get along. With everything that's happening, we going through a lot. And I was just like, you need some dick, lady. What? Oh, man, you still on here. You must be old, lonely and stuff. But, yeah, let me maximize this because, honey, you can talk all you want to, and we'll get back to it later. Maybe share some of it with some other people and stuff. But, yeah, show yourself. Show yourself. And Cat Dicky voice, my sister. But, yeah, let's read. This here came from the New York World, December 7, 1899. Roasted alive. This was in Maysville, Kentucky. Not Mayfield, Maysville. Maysville, Kentucky, on December the 6th. My husband's birthday, December the 6th. Richard Coleman. And you know, I got Richard in the front right here because I need to learn my brothers that this happened to. Richard was 14 years old. They said that Richard did something to some little white girl. End up some white folks did it, most likely. A lot of these stories ended up with white folks having done them. White men had committed these crimes. But however, I digress. But, and I meant it, I digress. That's how I say it. Yeah, I digress. But what happened was they went and got Richard. So unmentioned. 14 years old, he was so scared, y'all. They went and got Richard. They restrained him and stuff, hook him up, tied him up to a pole or something like that and stuff. And they poured cayenne pepper in his eyes and stuff. And they had already set the fire and stuff. And they were taking the hot wood and stuff. And they were just sticking it on him and rubbing it all up and down his body and stuff, you know, just piling the fire on him and stuff, you know, just did some terrible things to Richard. And he was only 14 years old. He was burned at the stake, honey. It was thousands, so many white men that was there. It was hundreds of white women, little white kids was there. And so this right here is the story. Let's read about Richard Coleman. I know some Colemans. Yeah. Richard Coleman, a 20-year-old colored boy, was burned at the stake at noon today within the limits of this city. And I have 14, but he's 20. I'm going to put 20 and 14 because it may be another account, but it's so many stories. It is so many, honey, that you know, yeah. It'll take me a while to learn all of them. And we do need to know them. We do need to know our history. Fuck that shit. White America don't want us to know what the fuck they did to them. They motherfucking asses should have been trying to repair and fix this bullshit. And then we wouldn't have to look at racism again. We wouldn't have to deal with racism every day of our goddamn life. We wouldn't have to. In white America, y'all, Kathy, Morning Row, if y'all had sincerely been trying to make amends for this, we wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have had to. Y'all knew that my people weren't really fluently, educationally aware of the political aspects of that vulture that we be voting on and stuff, but y'all did. Y'all knew exactly what was going to happen. We vote like this, vote like this, vote like this. Well, as long as they vote that way and that way and that way, we're good. We're still good. And that was okay with y'all. All of this, y'all just sat along and went along with all of this. But I digress. So, Richard Coleman, a 20-year-old colored boy, was burned at the stake at noon today within the limits of this city, Maysville, Kentucky, in the presence of thousands of men and hundreds of women and children. Tortures almost unbelievable were inflicted upon the wretched Negro. And see, that's how they talk about black men. All of these right here were accounts in the newspapers. Ralph Ginsberg just wrote the book. He put all of the newspaper clippings together in this book for 100 years of lynching. And is there a picture of Ralph? No, not on this book right here. Not on this book right here. It's not a picture. And ain't no pictures in this book. It's just straight tortures of what white folks have done to black America, to us. We learning why we can't get along with us. We learning on this channel what's really happened to us. Now, it ain't so that we can further traumatize us. People that don't know their history is doomed to repeat it. It's doomed to repeat it. It's fact. I forgot who said it. Sumerian tablets, I guess. I forgot who it was that said, hell, I didn't graduate high school. Hell, them motherfuckers didn't teach me nothing, no way. I got to 11th grade and quit, but hell, they didn't teach us what we needed to know anyway. None of them schools taught us the knowledge that we need to know. They made us think that goddamn white America done built up this whole country. That white America got America into such a wanting country. Everybody want to come here because it's so fabulous, so beautiful. Everybody, they can't say nothing. They say America. They say America. And no. All of that credit goes to the ancestors, goes to my people. And I say all of it today because white America ain't done nothing to even appreciate what they've done on any aspect, from the wars they was in and fought against to save your asses and stuff, and then went back to being slaves and stuff. I'm just saying, So yeah, on this channel right here, we got to learn these things. In the daytime and stuff at noon, y'all, we learning. We learn about the good and the bad and the ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And some theft going on and some thievery and all kind of laws and shit. In noontime, but at midnight with the ancestors, you already know, honey. You already know. See, we read this right here at nighttime because we got to process this. I don't want you to be out with all of these emotions on you. And, I see some motherfuckers, too, that look like Carolyn Bryant. I see some motherfuckers sometimes that, they look just like Carolyn Bryant. I've seen a couple of them here that look exactly. And, got that ring on to them and stuff, got that whole vibe on them and stuff, But, yeah, I keep my distance going by my business. I ain't no need even speaking, No, I'm just saying, I'm suspicious of y'all white folks. Every last one of you, some of you might be garden snakes and you might not really be a threat, Hell, I can beat her ass. Shit, she tried to, you try to slap me. I can whoop your ass. I'm just saying shit, Hell, now, come on now. But, I just stay my distance because you can't tell about y'all. Y'all can't even tell. Maybe y'all don't know. I don't know, Black America. Maybe white America don't know what's happening to them. Maybe they've been asleep to what's inside of them and they don't know. But we better know. Your black ass better know what's inside of them. But let's read. Tortures almost unbelievable were inflicted upon the wretched Negro. And all the vast crowd that witnessed the agonies of the man, not one hand was raised in humanity's behalf. Yeah, I know. I really need to do, but let me go here with this. If I stop, I may, And all the vast crowd that witnessed the agonies of the man, not one hand was raised in humanity's behalf, nor a single voice heard in the interest of mercy. Instead, when some new torture was inflicted upon the shrieking, burning boy, the crowd cheered and cheered, the shrill voices of women and the piping tones of children sounding high above the roar of men. So while they were torturing him, 14-year-old Richard Coleman, while they were torturing him, they were just gleeful. White folks just loved it. It was like being at the funnest carnival fair. I can't explain. Not one person in the crowd wore a mask. The leaders of the mob disdained the semblance of any disguise. Every act was done in the open. There was no secrecy. The population of the whole city and the country for miles around, church men and women, professional and businessmen of eminence, people of distinguished ancestry, formed the mob. And not a single regret for the horrible tragedy can be heard tonight from one end of the town to the other end. You couldn't find a sympathetic or merciful white person nowhere. You could not. You could not, honey. Coleman was to have been tried here this morning for a crime peculiarly brutal. He had confessed to assaulting and barbarously murdering a beautiful young woman, the wife of his employer, James Lashbrook, a wealthy farmer. There was not a particle of doubt that he would have been executed according to the law. But see, white folks couldn't let the law do it. White folks could not let the law do it. They had to do the law immediately without any justice or anything. And even though it said that he confessed, white folks lied a lot. White folks lied a whole lot. It was 2 months ago today that Coleman killed Miss Lashbrook. He was taken to Covington and kept in jail there for safekeeping. Had he been in prison here, he would have been lynched without delay. The authorities hoped that the public indignation would die out. Instead, it ramified, hardened, and became as fixed in the minds of thousands as any human determination could be. For weeks, members of the Lashbrook family had been silently on guard in Covington. They heard last night that Coleman was to be sent to Maysville. The news was telegraphed and spread everywhere. The Maysville jailer asked that the journey be delayed until this morning. Sheriff Perrine started from Covington for Maysville with Coleman and several assistants on the 7:30 a.m. train. The world's correspondent accompanied them. Coleman begged to be allowed to remain in Covington. He knew what he had to expect. He told the sheriff he would be horribly killed. Pleadingly, he said he didn't want any trial, that he was willing to be hanged without a trial. He was so frightened he could not walk and had to be practically lifted into the patrol wagon which carried him to the station. The members of the Lashbrook family telegraphed word of the coming and went on the same train. They kept in the background as much as possible, but rode in the smoker, where Coleman sat handcuffed to the sheriff and they never took their eyes from him. They feared some trick by the authorities and were determined to track him to any hiding place that the sheriff might have in view. Coleman saw and recognized the Lashbrooks in the car, and their quiet, determined manner paralyzed him with fear. Deputy Sheriff Robinson tried to make him talk, but when asked questions, he simply shook his head. Once asked his age, he said, about 14, I guess. He said he was 14. I guess. Robinson said, you told me 20. Maybe I did. I don't know, was the reply. Sheriff Perrine was en route. While en route, was informed that a mob was awaiting the arrival of the train at the depot here, and he hastily prepared for the swearing in of deputy sheriffs. As the train pulled slowly into the old station, the mob formed on both sides. Armed men stationed themselves at the platforms of all the cars and warned the frightened passengers to remain quiet and not to interfere. The sheriff and his assistants were strongly armed, and there was some resistance as the leaders of the mob jostled roughly against them, and demands were uttered from the outer fringes of the crowds for the prisoners. White men and women was out there yelling, screaming, clawing. They wanted to get Richard off of the train. Now they knew that for this crime, this alleged crime, he would have been executed. He would have been lynched, executed, but they wanted to do it. They had to do this. They had to torture this man and so many others. 100 years of lynching. Where the lie? Where's the lie? That's all I'm saying. Where is the motherfucking lie? You got to let us go. Stop holding on to your hate. Stop holding on to your racism, to your stupidity, your racist stupidity. Stop holding on to it with us. Give that shit to any other group of people. Let them go through 100 years of lynching with your ass. Let them go through Jim Crowism with your ass, segregation with your ass, sterilization with your ass, miseducation with your ass. We are tired. We're so sick and tired. My people need to know it's okay. It's okay to get away from y'all. It's okay to let y'all know you've done too much. You've done too much. You got enough to fix now to go out there and get your big bubble thumper and let him know, hey, we got to stop all this. We got to stop all this. You're destroying life, man. Now, if that's the way you roll and stuff, you know, and you with thumping them and stuff, then carry your ass on over there and get off of here. But yeah, you here. You're supposed to be here for some type of healing for you, because you can't heal me. You can't heal me. You ain't gonna find your healing here, but I can tell you where you about need to be, and it ain't here. You got other stuff as a white person to be fixing out there right now. If anybody got any say so with these racists out here that's literally destroying life as we know it, it's you, and that's where you need to be at. Because my people, we learning some things here. We just be glad that, hey, we ain't about no revenge on y'all. We ain't about no revenge, no vengeance, because, honey, this is over with. We at the point now where we need to know what the fuck happened and why it happened, who did it. And we need to, move accordingly. Move accordingly. See, my people need to know why we must separate. They need to know why we don't have anything. Where's our communities? Where's our family structure? You know, where's our identity? We've lost everything. We sacrificed everything for white America. It ain't against y'all. It ain't to cause you harm or to bring harm on you. It's so that we can do for us now. It's time for us to do for us now. I know you don't want to hear it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. But I'm appalled any goddamn way. I'm going to be appalled and pissed off any goddamn way while I'm reading this. Until I can process this for me. And I got a lot to read. Don't take it personal. You might be. I don't know. You want to come on here talking about Trump, so you might not be a copacetic person. I don't know. I wouldn't think so if you roll like that. But, go find your true purpose and make life better for yourself. Try to heal your people. Get these same books and let your people know the harm you've done. Let your people know. We don't know if it's going to be a missile or a meteor finna come and knock this whole goddamn planet off the skeleton. We don't know because your people have done such damage to the whole planet, to the ethers, the cosmic energy, the skies, the atmosphere is all fucked up. Yeah, it's like an old fabric. That shirt will never mend again. I don't care how well you sew it. You still can see where it busts through that shirt. I'm just saying, you cut through that shirt and stuff. That's how, white folks just putting all their equipment and stuff all up in space and shit and probing all that there and shit. Yeah, spirit come through. Spirit come through because, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me. This is my purpose right here to my people. White folks, if when you see this and stuff, don't be here if you ain't looking for no ways and no solutions. How you can right this huge wrong that your people have done. See, my people, we don't know none of this. But if I can master, the way I feel about it, the sense of betrayal and just being appalled, then, my people can too. Then we can too. We are very forgiving people. We won't have nothing to do with y'all goddamn asses no more. But shit, hell, I ain't gonna wish nothing on Kathy. Shit, hell, peace to you. Shit, keep your ass over there. I don't need to buy nothing from you. You don't need to buy nothing. I wear this. I wear my own clothes. I wear my own motherfucking clothes and stuff. I do. Black people, we do know how to live and let live. I don't know if y'all white people know how to do that. I don't know. I don't think so. We finna find out. Because we're not playing games here. This is where we literally go back to us. Put our focus back on us. Start working on us. Trying to heal us. Being for us now. Not for y'all no more. We not finna keep y'all comfortable no more. We finna talk about what your ancestors have done. Because we need to. My people need to know. Because we need healing. Even if you don't. White America. So, if this is irritating you, then you definitely don't even come back. Like my people, I tell my people too. If this is irritating them because they can't believe it, they don't want to believe it, that y'all done these things to us. They do not want to believe it. And I let them know if I'm irritating them, then go over there with sister. Go set your ass over there with sister. Yes, sister very forgiving. Sister gonna make sure y'all ain't reading this. Sister gonna make sure you ain't reading this right here. So go over there with her. But I let them know when they start touching them and they got to know about Richard, you come on back over here then. But y'all white folks, it'll never be nothing here for you. This little reading right here, White Fragility, that's just because I just finished reading Tears We Cannot Stop, a sermon to white America. And I had that book too. And he did do the foreword, Michael Eric Dyson. That's how I ended up reading that book right there. But it won't be books like that read for y'all. That's a slap on the wrist. That's a motherfucking slap on the wrist. But I digress. They can approach y'all and, write their books and stuff how they want to. I might write a book too because the damn show need to be upgraded. Because, y'all have done so much. It's hard to take. It's hard for me to sit here and read this and know that this actually happened. This actually happened. But, I'm processing it. I've been here like 8 months now reading this about y'all, what y'all have done to my people. Now I see why we so fucked up. And the only thing we could do is get away from y'all. And if you do choose to stay here, shut your motherfucking mouth. You can stop typing now. You're supposed to be listening. You're supposed to be listening so you can kind of understand. Work on you with all your hatred. You the one that's kept this hidden. Now you're mad and pissed off and shit because it's being exposed and stuff. You can't go through every channel, every black person that's talking, learning, what we need to know. You can't possibly, where you gonna live your life? I mean, if you just looking for every black person that's talking about black life, black experience, you ain't got no time for you. That's what you're teaching your baby, your kids. Obviously, because they showing it now out there in the streets and stuff, but I digress. As the officers proceeded, the number of the mob were constantly swelled by new arrivals. And through the downtown business streets to the courthouse, they were closely followed. Oh, let me back up a little bit because I missed one sentence. Sheriff Perrine made a bold movement and started walking swiftly, but with no indications of panic from the car. A step behind him followed the officers, with Coleman seeking to conceal himself behind the forms of his protector. As the officers proceeded, the number of the mob were constantly swelled by new arrivals. And through the downtown business streets to the courthouse, they were closely followed. The mob was following them. Hundreds of stones and other missiles were thrown, and revolvers and rifles were freely displayed. The prisoner was frequently struck, and he presented a frightful appearance, blood streaming from wounds on his face and head. He's 14 now. He's 14 years old. This is a 14-year-old boy. At the courthouse, a mob of 2,000 men headed by James Lashbrook, the husband, had been hastily formed. The demand for the prisoner was made, accompanied by threats from the leaders. There was a brief struggle in which weapons were hastily drawn by the officers, and then the sheriff and his assistants were overcome by force of numbers, and the prisoner was pulled from them. Up through the main street of the town, the mob marched, the prisoner being held by the vanguard and dragged along with the aid of ropes loosely attached to his body. He was the target of hundreds of missiles, and several times he sank half-conscious to the ground while the crowd pressed forward, striking at him with clubs, sticks, and whips until his head and body were scarcely recognizable. More dead than alive, he was dragged along and forced to his feet. Scores of women joined the men. High above the noise, the wretch could be heard pleading for his life. The place of execution had been selected weeks ago in accordance with all the other arranged details of the program mapped out by the leaders of the mob. The prisoner was dragged to the sapling and strapped against a tree, facing the husband of the victim. Large quantities of dry brush and larger bits of wood were piled around him. And oil was poured on the mass while he was praying loudly for speedy death. James Lashbrook, the husband of the victim, applied the first match to the brushwood. A brother of the victim struck the second match. Someone with a knife slashed at the prisoner's chest. By a sort of cruel occurrence of action on the part of the mob, not a single shot was fired. The purpose seemed to be to give the wretch the greatest possible amount and duration of torture. The lower part of his clothing was torn away, leaving him bare. As the flames grew, Coleman's horror increased, and he struggled terribly to withdraw his limbs from the encroaching fire. The shrieks of the burning Negro nerved the crowd to greater deeds of horror. The shrieks of the burning Negro nerved the crowd to greater deeds of horror. One man had in his hand the same pepper box which Coleman had used to throw pepper in the eyes of Mrs. Lashbrook when he first attacked her. This man had filled the box with cayenne pepper. He stepped close to the shrieking wretch, whose eyes were almost bursting from his head with pain, and calmly threw the pepper into the eyes of the Negro. Again and again, the boy writhed and strained at the stout ropes, and his face became horribly distorted with the awfulness of the pain. But the man with the pepper box kept on deliberately shaking more pepper into the victim's eyes. At least twice, he stopped to press down the eyelids of the Negro to make sure that the pepper did its work of agony. Scores of men had pistols in their hands. The men who came in from the country had their trousers stuffed into their boots and had handles of revolvers projected outside their boot legs. In an ecstasy of rage, one countryman, a neighbor of Mrs. Lashbrook, pulled his revolver from his bootleg as if to shoot the Negro. A dozen men pounced on him and made him promise not to use the weapon. They did not want the Negro to die that way. It would have been too quick. Eager hands kept feeding the flames, and soon the blazing mass reached the waist of the Negro. The ropes which held the upper part of his body burned away, and he toppled into the flames. Long poles were used to push him back and hold him in an upright position. Men burned themselves to catch him with their hands and hold him up, and the crowd cheered them again and again, and again and again, because when the cords burned off up here, they were still tied on his ankles or some way, but when he fell, the upper part of his body fell into the fire. They pushed it back up, probably with sticks and branches and shit like that. And they said they were burning their hands. I guess they were just grabbing his whole body and putting it back up there and stuff. I do not know. I'd never thought like this before. It was thought the Negro was dead, but as he sank to a sitting position in the flames, he cried out faintly, "If you take the fire away, I want to say something. Oh, give me water. Please, people, give me water." Those were the last words he uttered. The next minute, he was probably dead as his head fell forward on his chest. But the crowd was not satisfied. They kept on feeding the flames. Lashbrook, the husband of the murdered woman, stood all the time directly in front of the burning Negro, and he did not leave until the body was almost completely incinerated. Long after most of the mob went away, little bitty children, little bitty white children, little white kids, they were there too, from 6 years old to 10 years old of age. They carried dried grass and kindling wood, and they kept the fire burning all during the afternoon. Little bitty kids, your children. You ain't taught them nothing. They still got this inside of them. They still got that clownimal, that instinct inside of them, even though we ain't no threat to them. We ain't no threat to y'all. We're not. You've taken all of these lies and this hatred that your ancestors infested on, and you just hold it and embrace it and try to keep it alive. And now you done fucked the whole planet up, the whole world up. You have. You done fucked the whole world up. You got that much room to wiggle and try to make this right with society, with life itself. Yeah, but for us, we getting the hell away from y'all. We getting the fuck away from y'all white folks. That's all I can say. Yes, honey. Well, mean you no harm and stuff. And I hope you find it in your heart. I meditate, I truly do, that you find it in your hearts to not find another group of people and enslave them, oppress them, keep them down. Don't ever do that to nobody else. Learn your lesson. If it's only to come here and just listen, don't say a motherfucking word. If you gonna cry, don't even say you crying with me, because I don't need your tears. But if you really want to learn some things, I don't know, you really have to do some soul searching, white America. You know, I can't keep you from on here because it's the internet. I guess I could get a moderator, but I don't know if I'm gonna do all that bullshit for fucking what. This could be another opportunity for your ass to finally see that your people been lying to y'all all along. I got the funding fathers over there somewhere. I'll read it at some point, but it won't be no time soon. Sure the fuck won't. I need my people to see that, yeah, we must know what's happened. Y'all need to know. If you claim your ass don't, you act like hell you know a lot about Trump to feel okay with things. But I digress. But yeah, you know, your kids always tell the truth. Relic hunters, you know, looking for souvenirs and stuff. Relic hunters visited the scene and carried away pieces of flesh and the Negro's teeth. George Washington had slaves' teeth in his mouth. Slaves' teeth in his mouth. You ain't never been sincere. Everything that's happened, that you've done, that your ancestors have done, you're so quick to say, well, we didn't do it. That was such a long time ago. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That shit was like yesterday. This right here was like yesterday. Because you ain't never tried to make it right. That's why. And I ain't never going nowhere. And it'll never go nowhere, white America. You must deal with what your ancestors have done. Others got pieces of fingers and toes and proudly exhibit the ghastly souvenirs tonight. Yeah, they go home with fingers, toes, and they proud of it. Remember, we read about the one white man that kept a black man's hand, kept that hand for years in his pocket, kept a black man's hand in his pocket. And I guess now you, instead of the hand, I guess they thought to put a wallet in there. I don't know why black men got wallets. Men, period, got wallets in their pockets. I don't know. I just know that white man had a black man's hand from a lynching that he kept in his pocket. And all I can see in my mind's eye, because I know how y'all is now. I know why you like this now. You pretending now. And I can see that man holding their hand up at old black people, at little bitty black babies, little black kids. I can see that man, your uncle, holding that hand up. And that reminds me of King Leopold. What was it? King Leopold killed 20 million black people, cut their hands off, and tried to make some Easter candy. I think it was Easter or Valentine's, one of them, y'all, black America. That's why I stopped celebrating the goddamn holidays and shit. And tried to make, I think it was Easter, honey, tried to make some chocolate hands for Easter. And people, whoa, wait a minute, what the fuck? And Hitler killed 2 million, but y'all act like Hitler is the worst. And here Leopold done killed 20 million old folk, young folk, babies, cutting their hands off and stuff. And you ain't said a word or a whisper. Hitler got his ideas from American, some of them, of his ideas from American and stuff. It's time for y'all to face what's inside of y'all, white America. If you listening and stuff, I don't know. Now you got me thinking, hell, all of y'all, maybe you do want to know. I don't know, but I wish you go somewhere and find your people that's teaching you and stuff. I don't know how the ancestors want this to play out. Yeah, they'll let me know, and I'll let your ass know. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, go somewhere else and get right. Get your ass right and stuff. Yeah, honey, you got some learning to do. But honey, with tears in his eyes, James Lashbrook said to the world correspondent this afternoon, I touched the match to the fire that sent Coleman to his doom. I did as I thought right, and I will stand for all that may follow. Make me think about it. Her and Richard might have had a relationship, and the husband not killed him, but it's a lot of stories that ended up in the end. They would let you know what really happened, because it'd be found out that some white man that committed the crime and stuff. But yeah, I digress. Let's just read. Judge Wadsworth said, I am a police judge, but for once, perhaps I forgot the duties of the office. Lashbrook has my sympathy. He left my office 15 minutes before train time. We expected Coleman last night, and we waited all night for him. He was in on it. Yeah. The judge was in on it. They all were waiting with Lashbrook for Richard Coleman to come in. The coroner held an inquest this evening and rendered a verdict that Coleman came by his death at the hands of unknown reasons, unknown persons. That's what they did. You did your people, white people, just wiped it away like it never happened. Nobody did nothing. And they clearly said nobody had masks on. So yeah, we getting the fuck away from y'all, and y'all asses finna understand why. And if you can't understand why, then think about it with some other people. Think about it. Maybe they could be able to let y'all know. It's called white folks. Your ass can't be trusted. Maybe the Mexican people tell you. The other people, the Arabs. I don't know. There's a lot of people over here. Some Japanese over here. Some Chinese people. You got a few Hmong people and stuff. And I seen some Amish people the other day. Maybe somebody will step up and let y'all know, white America, you've been too destructive to them. They don't want nothing to do with you. Let them go. Fix yourself. I don't know who it's gonna have to come from. Maybe Butch, the dogs. Y'all love animals. Maybe the animals need to talk to y'all instead of us. And because it's time for us to get the hell away from y'all. What is this? Well, let's read. What was left of the body had not been removed up to this evening and was still smoldering. All that was visible was the charred skull, and somebody took that home. Several of the women who witnessed the burning said to the world correspondent tonight that they now feel as if they could walk the loneliest country road at midnight without being molested by a black man. That was your white woman. There was your white woman right there. Several of the women who witnessed the burning said to the world correspondent tonight that they now feel as if they can walk the loneliest country road at midnight, honey, without being molested by a black man. They don't care how dark it is. They don't care how long it is, how lonely, honey. It can be as narrow as a motherfucker, honey, wide as hell. They don't care. Honey, they'll feel as safe as ever because they feel like, yeah, a black man been lynched. Now they feel safe as hell. Yeah, make it make sense. The crime for which Coleman was burned was an awful one. He murdered the woman who had befriended him. Coleman was not only employed on the Lashbrook farm, but he had been installed as a house servant and was trusted implicitly by Mr. Lashbrook and his wife. On the day of the murder, Mr. Lashbrook was at work some distance from the house, of which Coleman was left in charge. Mrs. Lashbrook had driven to Maysville and returned when Coleman asked her to enter the cabin to look at some work on which he had been engaged. The Negro locked the door on the inside. Mrs. Lashbrook became frightened and screamed. Coleman threw pepper in her eyes, struck her on the head, and knocked her down, but did not stop her cries. He then seized a razor, cut her throat, and assaulted her. He then left the room, but returning and hearing her groaning, he struck her repeatedly on the head with an axe until he was sure she was dead. Her husband did that. Yep. Without any show of alarm or remorse, the Negro washed the blood from his hands and clothing and went to where Mr. Lashbrook was at work in the field and told him that he had better come to the house as someone had killed his wife. Mr. Lashbrook did not take the matter seriously until Coleman insisted that his wife was dead. Now, how he gonna wash all of that blood from his hands and clothing and then gonna say your wife dead, but he said, oh, I don't believe it. He got to tell him she's dead to get his attention. See? But I digress. Let's read. Even then, so great was the confidence of Mr. Lashbrook in Coleman that no thought occurred that he was the murderer. It was not until after the officers arrived that suspicion was directed at Coleman. Blood spots had been found on his clothing, but he accounted for them by saying that he had been killing chickens. That night, however, at Maysville, a partial confession was obtained, and knowing the result if the facts should become known, the officers quietly took him to Covington, Kentucky for safekeeping. Never before today was there a man burned alive by a mob in Kentucky. Richard Coleman was the first in Kentucky to be burned alive. Now, remember when we read Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940, and there was a whole lot of lynchings, but Richard was the first burn at stake in Kentucky. And that's not our book, so I don't have that. Lynched Negro who testified for another Negro. This was in Ripley, Tennessee, March the 23rd. And this was in the New Orleans Times-Democrat on March the 24th in 1900. So Ripley, Tennessee on March the 23rd. This morning, in the heart of the city, the body of a Negro, Louis Rice, was found dangling from a limb of a tree. The lynching grew out of a trial in the Circuit Court of Lauderdale County, during the course of which Rice testified in favor of one of his color who was charged with the murder of a white man named Goodrich. Oh, my ancestors. Yep. Them names sound very familiar, honey. I'm just saying. June 11, 1900 in the New York Times. An innocent man lynched. In New Orleans on June the 10th, a mob willfully and knowingly hanged and burned an innocent man, as well as another man who was probably innocent near Mississippi City, Mississippi. Between midnight and 1 o'clock this morning. The lynching was the result of impatience on the part of the people of Biloxi, Mississippi, a nearby town, over the failure of the officers of the law to produce the man who a week ago murdered Christina Winterstein. Christina Winterstein, a schoolgirl who was returning to her home near Biloxi after attending the commencement exercises of her school. The crime was an unusually atrocious one, even for outrages of this nature, and naturally suspicion pointed to some unknown Negro as the perpetrator. Many arrests were made, and two other suspects, Askew and Russ, were placed in the Mississippi City jail for safekeeping. The proof against neither one was more than remotely circumstantial. In the case of Askew, the district attorney made an examination and practically declared the man innocent. The next night, Askew was taken from the jail by a mob and tortured with fire to extort a confession. After the terrible ordeal, the mob virtually declared the man guiltless as they returned him to jail. Yesterday, the district attorney at a public meeting at Biloxi obtained a pledge from the citizens not to molest the prisoners if they were returned from it for examination. It is stated on good authority that he thought the men could prove their innocence, and the citizens were aware of his views. Some of them refused to pledge themselves, and yesterday afternoon it was openly asserted that it was out for the question to think of postponing the matter any longer, as the crime merited a lynching. Last night, a crowd went to the jail, secured Askew and Russ, hanged them, fired into the bodies, and then built a fire under them. Baltimore American on July 24, 1900. The militia arrives too late. In Huntsville, Alabama on July 23rd, Elijah Clark, the Negro who yesterday assaulted Susan Priest, a 13-year-old girl, was taken from the jail in this city this evening and lynched near the spot where his crime was committed. His body was riddled with bullets. Sheriff Fulgham defended his prisoner to the last, but a dense smoke from a combination of tar, feathers, and oil fired by the crazed mob was too much for him, and he was dragged from the jail and placed under physician's care. Sheriff Fulgham defended his prisoner to the last, but a dense smoke from a combination of tar, feathers, and oil fired by the crazed mob was too much for him, and he was dragged from the jail and placed under physician's care. Yeah, he couldn't do nothing. He lost his mind. Sheriff Fulgham did. He was scared that they were going to get him, I guess. And they had to put him under physician's care and calm him down. And William Vining, an employee of the Street Railway Company, who attempted to rush through the crowd and up the jail steps to assist the sheriff, was shot and dangerously wounded. A crowd of 150 men, principally employees of the big cotton mills at Dallas, a suburb of this city, searched the woods all night for Clark, who was identified at the time he assaulted Miss Priest by her little sister. No success attended their efforts, and early this morning, Sheriff Fulgham started out with a posse, and before 9 o'clock, they had captured Clark on Beaver Dam Creek, 10 miles from Huntsville. He was soon landed in jail. About 1 o'clock, the news of the prisoner's capture was heralded to all the parts of the city. A mob composed of mill operatives and men of all callings, was soon formed and marched to the jail, where they stood for a time, apparently waiting for a leader. Sheriff Fulgham, quickly seeing that he had a desperate crowd to combat, wired Governor Johnson the facts in the case. The governor responded to the effect that he had ordered the militia at Birmingham, Montgomery, and Decatur to proceed with all haste to the scene. The sheriff then telephoned Judge S.M. Stewart and asked for an immediate trial of the Negro. And the judge replied soon after that he had arranged for a special session of court at 3 o'clock before Judge H.C. Speak. The mob by this time had assumed alarming proportions, and the sheriff, thinking to quiet the storm, appeared at a window and announced that a special trial had been arranged for the prisoner and that he would be brought before the court at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This was greeted with jeers by the crowd of citizens, and the crowd, "Revenge!" went up. The outer door to the jail, a wooden barrier, was soon battered down, and the mob gained entrance to the first floor. Here they encountered the sheriff's wife, who pleaded with them to refrain from violence and let the law take its course. Sheriff Fulgham, however, on hearing the door being forced, retired with his prisoner to the 3rd floor, where he locked himself in with Clark. A large amount of tar, feathers, and oil was secured and piled upon the cement floor of the jail, and a match applied. A suffocating smoke arose and spread quickly throughout the jail. The sheriff again retreated to the corner farthest from the fire, taking his prisoner with him. More tar and feathers were brought in and ignited. Fulgham was finally dragged from the jail in a semi-conscious condition and taken to the city hall, and the doctors were summoned. The sheriff's departure was the signal for the mob to proceed to their work, and they quickly took complete possession of the stronghold. Fully an hour was consumed in breaking the lock to the cell in which the culprit was confined. But as soon as this was accomplished, 2 men secured Clark and quickly appeared with him on the front steps of the jail. A plow line was placed around his neck, and guarded by 20 heavy armed men in fours, he was dragged out of the jail yard. The mob was followed by 1,500 white people. The doomed man was taken before his victim and positively identified. The identification complete, the wretch collapsed and had to be taken up and borne on the shoulders of his captors. The rope around Clark's neck was thrown over the limb of an immense tree by Miss Priest's brother. The Negro was thrown across the back of a horse, and the animal was led out from under him. The body was riddled with bullets. Just as the work was finished, the Decatur militia arrived at Huntsville. Lynched before trial, New York Herald. This is another version of Elijah Clark. Huntsville, Alabama, July 23rd. Elijah Clark, a Negro, 20 years old, was lynched at 2 o'clock this afternoon by an immense mob of citizens of Huntsville and the surrounding country. Clark was about to be removed from the Madison County Jail to the courthouse for a preliminary hearing when the mob compelled the officers to give him up, took him to the scene of his crime, hanged him, and riddled his body with bullets. A Harvard professor favors legalizing lynchings. This one here was in the New York World on December 30th in 1900. Detroit, December 29th. Professor Albert Bushnell Hart of Harvard College, speaking before the American Historical Association and Convention here today, said that if the people of certain states are determined to burn colored people at the stake, those states would better legalize the practice. Chicago Record on January 4th, 1901. Negro freed, then lynched. In Rome, Georgia on January 3rd, George Reed, a Negro charged with attempting to assault Mrs. J.M. Locklear of this city last night, was hanged today to a tree. His body was then riddled with bullets by a mob of 150 men. Reed protested his innocence. After his arrest this morning, the Negro was taken before Mrs. Locklear, but she failed to identify him and he was returned to jail. However, the mob, which had been seeking the prisoner's life, was not satisfied. The demonstrations were so pronounced that Judge Henry of the Superior Court, not seeing any reason for holding Reed, ordered the sheriff to release him. The mob, learning of the release, formed within the city limits and marched to the house of Lila Glover, Gover, in North Rome, where it found Reed. He was taken 3 miles from this place and lynched, an innocent man. That's what you do. Yep. Chicago Record, February 27, 1901. Hoosiers hang Negro killer. Terre Haute, Indiana, February 26. George Ward, a Negro who murdered Miss Ida Finkelstein, the school teacher, last evening, was placed in jail at 11 o'clock this morning and shortly before 1 o'clock was taken out by a mob, dragged face downward to the banks of the Wabash, only 2 squares away, at the wagon bridge at the foot of the main street of the city, this to the draw, and hang from a beam more dead than alive. Then his body was cut down and tumbled off the bridge on the west bank of the river, and a fire was built on which he was burned. For 2 whole hours, the crowd came and went, white folks and thousands of white folks, while a few hundred gathered close to the fire and renewed it as it died down with oil and crates from a nearby poultry house, or they were getting wood and breaking branches off the trees and picking up scraps of paper and leaves on the ground, anything that they could find, and kept it going. The hat was passed around several times for some money to buy some more oil. Some of the bridge weatherboarding was torn off for fuel. No effort was made by the authorities to stop the inhumane conduct. And so far as appearances went, it was simply a big bonfire watched idly by a great number of people. When the crowd near the fire tired of renewing it after 2 hours, it was seen that the victim's feet was not burned. Someone called an offer of $1 for one of the toes. And a boy quickly took out his knife and cut off a toe. The offer was followed by others, and the horrible traffic was continued. Youths holding up toes and asking for bids. Nothing had been done by the authorities as yet looking to the punishment of the lynchers. They were not disguised, and there would be no difficulty in identifying them. Policemen stood on the riverbank and watched as men and boys about the fire for an hour or more. Outside the jail, a number of policemen tried to persuade the crowd to disperse, but when a man would not move on, no further effort was made. And this was after slavery. All of these things happened after slavery. Right now, we're after all this mingling and marrying. Yo, people. You know, y'all, yeah. Chicago Record, March 14, 1901. A coroner's jury commends mob for cremating Negro. Coroner's jury commends mob for cremating Negro. This was in Corsicana, Texas on March the 13th in 1901. John Henderson, the Negro accused of murdering Mrs. Younger, was burned at the stake by a mob of 5,000 persons in this city today. He purportedly had confessed his guilt. Subsequently, the coroner held an inquest over his remains, and the jury returned a verdict commending the mob for its act of horror. Now, we read in Violence in the United States, and it was just Violence in the United States, how white men lied, white women lied, and said that black men raped them. Oh, I'm going to say you raped me if you don't sleep with me, and got black men this terrible racist that they were raped and stuff, and they were not. A lot of these, they were not. White men would torture black men and make them say they did it. White women would tell black men, you give me some, sleep with me, or I'm going to say you raped me. They did. Case in point, when we read lynching in Duluth, Minnesota, Isaac McGee and Lias Clayton and Elmer Clayton, Lias Jackson, and Isaac McGee. When we read about them, and it said that Irene Tuscan and her boyfriend, Jimmy Sullivan, went to the carnival and then left from the carnival and went and told they people that three or four black men raped her, and then white men in Duluth went to the carnival and got all them black men and took them back to Duluth and hung 3 black boys. I mean, you know, lies, just lies. And y'all knew, white folks. And a lot of these books and stuff we read, it'll come along at the end of the story and another story that It was the husband who did it, found out she was sleeping with some black man and stuff. And you can't be trusted. You just cannot. But I digress. New York Tribune, March 17, 1901. Negro suspect eludes mob. Sister lynched instead. They couldn't get the brother, so they got the sister. This was in Nashville, Tennessee. March 16th, Bally Crutchfield, a colored woman, met death at the hands of a mob at Rome about midnight last night. The mob surrounded her home and took her to a bridge over Round Lick Creek near the town. Her hands were tied behind her, and after being shot through the head, her lifeless body was thrown into the creek. The body was recovered today, and the jury of inquest returned a verdict that she met death at the hands of unknown persons. The lynching was a result of a suspicion that the negress was in some way connected with the theft of the contents of a pocketbook containing $120, which was lost by Walter Sampson last week. The purse was found on the ground by a Negro boy who was on his way to return it to the owner when he was met by William Crutchfield, a brother of the dead woman, who induced the boy to give him the pocketbook upon the representation that the contents were of no value. Mr. Sampson had Crutchfield arrested, and he was taken to the house of Squire Baines for safekeeping. That night, a mob visited the house of Squire Baines and took Crutchfield from the custody of the sheriff. The mob had started with Crutchfield to the place selected for execution when he broke away from them and succeeded in effecting his escape in the dark. This so enraged the mob that they suspected Crutchfield's sister, Bally, of being implicated in the theft, and last night's work was the culmination of that suspicion. Chicago Record, Herald, May 12, 1901. Believes wrong man lynched. This was in Birmingham, Alabama on May 11th. A Negro supposed to be James Brown, accused of assaulting Miss Della Garrett of Springville, was shot and killed by a number of white men near here today. The coroner is of the opinion that the wrong man has been killed. Chicago Record Herald, June the 20th, 1901. Lynch 2 in Louisiana. This was in Shreveport, Louisiana. June the 19th. 2 of the Negroes implicated in the murder of John Gray Foster were lynched by a mob at Benton tonight. One was Frank, commonly known as Prophet Smith, who at the head of the Church of God, he was at the head of the Church of God movement in that section, was blamed as being responsible for the sentiment against the whites, which led to the death of Foster. The other was F.D. McFarland. At 6 o'clock, men began quietly to obtain horses and ride eastward, crossing the river bearing twos and threes and ostensibly unarmed. They were all bound for Benton and had a prearranged plan for meeting with a similar crowd from Bossier to form the lynching party. The mob appeared before the Benton jail about 9 o'clock and made a demand on Sheriff Thomas for the prisoners. That official at first maintained his attitude of the last few days, but he was overpowered by the lynchers. Having secured the prisoners, the mob went out on the Arkansas Road about a mile and a half from the jail and strung them up. Both Negroes made statements before they died denying that they had anything to do with the killing of Foster. Willie Smith, while Smith died praying, McLean was silent as he was hanged. There were about 200 armed men in the mob. The lynchers declared that the death of these Negroes was necessary to preserve the lives of the white men in that section. Chicago Record Herald, August 8, 1901. Negro burned at the stake. Birmingham, Alabama, August 7th. Uttering alternate curses and prayers and shrieking as the flames encircled his writhing body, John Pendleton, a Negro, died at the stake near Enterprise today, a victim of the vengeance of a mob of 500 white people. This was John Pendleton. He was cussing, praying, crying, begging for mercy. On his way, they were torturing him. Yeah, it said he was cussing. He was going from cussing to praying to shrieking. Yeah. as they was burning him. A lot of the black men, they said that they didn't have any reactions until the flames got up to the torso, the chest part where it's real sensitive, I guess, and you could feel it real readily, the flames and stuff, as opposed to the legs and stuff. I don't know how that was, but it was a lot of them that we read in this book right here. And like the other brother, they said that he didn't make no sound and stuff. I don't know. Though the suffering wretch pleaded for mercy. And see, so disrespectful. Always so goddamn disrespectful. You see how they talking about, but he just printed this book, how the media was talking then. So see, that's why Black America, the media still ain't got your best interest at heart. They still ain't telling you nothing you need to know. If they could, they would be printing you like this now. If they could. Though the suffering wretch pleaded for mercy and frantically endeavored to break the chains that tightly bound him, not a trace of sympathy was shown on the faces that peered at him through the flames. Pennington had committed a brutal assault upon Mrs. J.C. Davis, the wife of one of the best-known farmers of Coffee County, and confessed his guilt. The attack was made yesterday when Mrs. Davis, who was alone at home, was in her garden. Leaving his victim unconscious, the Negro fled into the woods about the place. As soon as she regained her senses, Mrs. Davis crawled to the house and gave the alarm. A large posse was quickly organized with bloodhounds, and the Negro was chased until early this morning. When he was captured in a swamp, Pennington was bound hand and foot and taken back to the Davis home for identification. Mrs. Davis immediately recognized him, and the Negro broke down and wept. He admitted the crime and pleaded for mercy, but deaf to his cries of terror, the leader dragged the trembling man from the house. Several members of the crowd had already driven an iron pipe into the ground, and as the men approached with Pennington, both whites and blacks were piling brushwood around the fire, around the stake. The Negro saw his doom and with a scream of terror, fell to the ground in a faint. He was quickly revived and dragged to the stake while the crowd stood silent. The frightened man was limp and had to be held up while the chains were fastened around his neck and body. When all was ready, the cry was given and the crowd stood back. A match was applied to the pile, and with oil to feed upon the tiny flames, soon burst into a roaring fire. The terrified Negro again pleaded for mercy in the most agonizing tones and prayed that those around him might perish, burn in hell, God damn it. He called upon the Maker for forgiveness, and as the flames leaped up and encircled his neck, an unearthly shriek was heard, and the man's eyes had almost bulged out of the sockets. By this time, the fire had gained such headway that nothing could be seen except in a wriggling motion in the center of the circle of fire. A deathly silence followed, and in a few minutes the flames had subsided sufficiently to disclose Pendleton's head, falling forward and hanging limp over the iron chain. The body was quickly consumed, after which the crowd quietly dispersed. Now, I don't know if they ate him. Maybe it was consumed by the fire, because in a lot of these stories right here, these truths right here, after it was done, the lynching was done, white folks just turned around and just walked away. Just walked away like they hadn't just burned at the stake a whole human being. A whole human being. Little kids too. They just lift up and get the little kids out of the tree, and then they walk away and stuff. Like it's the most natural thing that you would ever do. They never heal from this. We can't trust it. My people, we can't trust it. Everybody in history has been telling us, Maya Angelou, but everybody, all my ancestors, our elders, our greatest minds and stuff, so intelligent, they never told us that, the harsh truth like we need to know, because we should have been able to read between the lines. But now we can't. We don't have the thought processes. We don't have the knowledge and the facts to know why we got to separate from white America. I know you, sister. I know you loved it being around white America. We thought that we was included. We thought that white America was sincere in what they were doing and how things were. And we know that even if we don't fight for reparations and help our people fight for reparations, we know that slavery existed and we didn't get reparations. We didn't get our 40 acres and a mule, but we still tried to be sincere with white people. We still try to be sincere with y'all and tolerate y'all and still let's see if we can, kind of get some racial reconciliation going on here and stuff. But we can't because white folks won't never allow it. White folks don't never want to allow it. They don't want to take accountability. See, to get healing, you got to take accountability for what you've done. And this is just too big to ignore. I mean, we dealing with Emmett Till, forgiving Emmett. Everybody that we knew about, forgiving them. This is bigger than that. It's that. It's all that. But now it's too much to just forgive without a word or a whisper from y'all. Not a word or a whisper, not your voice, not a vote, nothing. But murder, mayhem, and manipulation. That's all I see, with white folks and stuff. So black people, I'm just saying. And Chicago Record Herald on August 20, 1901, shooting at lynched black. Mob kills boy bystander. In Pierce City, Missouri, on August the 19th. Eugene Carter and another Negro named Godly, Brother God, were taken from jail tonight and lynched on the charge of assaulting and murdering Mrs. Cassell Wiles on her way home from Sunday school yesterday. When Godly was strung up, there was much shooting at the body, and a boy was killed, and several persons wounded by the indiscriminate firing. Just before his death, Carter confessed that the real culprit was Joe Clark, a Pullman car reporter, and the mob had arranged to meet him when he returned from his run and lynch him. The feeling against the Negroes is intense, and 25 armed men are now raiding the colored quarter, shooting at every black person they can find. The murder of Miss Wiles was most atrocious. She was met near a railroad bridge, dragged into the woods, assaulted, and her throat cut with a razor. A farmer working in a nearby field witnessed the assault, but hearing no outcry, did not go to her relief. When he saw the Negroes running away, he gave the alarm. The body of the girl was found at noon today, and the Negroes were captured shortly after. That's what he said. But honey, we know better than that. Yeah. Pierce City mob drives Negroes out and burns home. Pierce City, Missouri, August 20th. With the exception of a few car porters who are known to be respectable, there's not a Negro in this town. For 15 hours, an armed and furious mob coursed through the streets, chasing away every Negro they could find. The homes of 5 Negroes were burned, and in one of them, Peter Hampton, age 71 years old and feeble, was cremated as he was unable to escape. Beginning Sunday afternoon, when the mangled remains of Mrs. Gazelle Wild were discovered in a raven, where she had been murdered while struggling with a Negro assailant, this community has been in a terrible fever. Yesterday, Will Godley, a suspect, was arrested, and last night he was lynched. His grandfather, French Godley, was shot to death. Eugene Carter, alias Barrett, also a suspect, was hung up until he confessed and may die of his injuries. A boy was fatally injured by a stray bullet during the raid upon the Negro quarters last night, and the mob is thirsting to get its hands upon 2 other Negroes suspected of complicity in the murder. If caught, they would surely be lynched. After the lynching of Godley last night, it was thought the excitement would die down, but instead it became more intense, inasmuch as the impression grew that Godley was not the real culprit. Early this morning, the mob broke into the arsenal of the local militia company, secured the rifles and ammunition, and started out to clear Pierce City of all Negroes. The work was thoroughly done. The terrified blacks, bullets whistling around their ears and in some instances finding lodgment in their bodies, fled to the woods and nearby towns where they are being hidden by some friends. This afternoon, partial quiet was restored, but this fact is due to the lack of Negroes to shoot upon. Citizens, mindful of several hideous crimes against women hereabouts in recent years, have agreed that no Negro can hereafter live in Pierce City or pass through the place on pain of death. This may necessitate a complete change in a carporter system of 4 railroads centering near here. New elements in the murder of Miss Wild developed today. It appears she started home from church alone, with her brother lingering behind. About 1 mile from town, her brother found her with her throat cut, lying lifeless near a culvert, under which her assailant had attempted to drag her. Evidence of a terrible struggle was shown. A copper-colored Negro was seen sitting on a bridge a short time before the tragedy occurred. It is supposed that the Negro sprang upon her when she was passing and attempted to force her beneath the bridge. She fought with such desperation that he could not accomplish his purpose and cut her throat in the struggle. Her body was not violated. Monday, bloodhounds were taken to the scene and the girl's bloody handkerchief was laid before them. They immediately caught the trail and ran at full speed to the home of Joe Lark, where, on being admitted, rushed into his bedroom and sprang upon the bed. It is believed that the man under arrest at Tulsa, IT, who boarded with Lark, the Springfield suspect, slept upon this bed. The brother did. Chicago Record Herald, October 9, 1901. Mob scares woman to death. Honey, this was in Shelbyville, Kentucky on October the 8th. Mrs. Ben C. Perkins, wife of the jailer at this place, died today as a result of shock and fright suffered Wednesday morning when a mob attacked the jail and lynched 2 Negroes. At that time, Mrs. Jenkins was ill with a nervous attack, and Dr. W.F. Bird, her physician, declares that the rate of the lynchers is responsible for the woman's death. See, you even garden snakes can't handle it. Yeah. Chicago Record Herald on March the 31st in 1902. Lynch mob may have erred. In Savannah, Georgia, March the 30th. It is possible that in the search for Richard Young, the Negro wanted for the murder of Dower Fountain in the southern part of this county, a Negro now unknown has been caught by a posse and burned in error. A bright bonfire was seen in the swamp in the direction a posse went Friday night, and the members of the posse returned stating that they were satisfied with the night's work. It now develops, however, that their victim may not have been Richard Young, for whom the officers of the law are still searching. The remains of the burned Negro were brought before the mother of Richard Young, who says that they resemble her son in no particular. Chicago Record Herald, April 2nd, 1902. Mob victim pleads innocence. Praise culprit will be found. In Rome, Georgia on April 1st, Walter Allen, a Negro, charged with assaulting Miss Blossom Adams. A 15-year-old girl in this city yesterday afternoon was taken from the jail tonight by 4,000 persons who battered down the prison doors and hanged him to an electric light pole in the principal portion of the city. A volley was fired afterward, and fully 1,000 bullets entered the Negro's body. The sheriff tried to save Allen from the mob and refused to deliver the keys, but the crowd forced the jail door with sledgehammers. Allen was allowed to make a statement in which he declared that he was innocent and prayed that the guilty party would be found. Chicago Record Herald, May the 23rd, 1902. Negro tortured to death by mob of 4,000 people. Lansing, Texas, on May the 22nd. Dudley Morgan, a Negro accused of assailing Mrs. McKay, wife of a Section 4 man McKay, was burned to death in an iron stake here today. A crowd of 4,000 white men, most of whom were armed, snatched him from the officers on the arrival of the train. Morgan was taken to a large field on the edge of town. An iron stake was driven into the ground, and to this he was bound until he could only move his head. Heaps of inflammable material was then piled about him, and he was given a few moments for prayer. It was 12:12 when all arrangements were completed. The crowd by this time numbered at least 5,000 white people. The husband of the woman Morgan was accused of abusing, applied the match, and the pyre was soon ablaze. Then began the torture of the Negro. Burning pieces of pine were thrust into his eyes. Then burning timbers were held to his neck, and after his clothes were burned off to other parts of his body, he was tortured in a horrible manner. The crowd clamored continuously for a slow death. The Negro, writhing and groaning at the stake, begged piteously to be shot. Mrs. McKay was brought to the field in a carriage with 4 other women, and an unsuccessful effort was made to get her near enough to see the mob's victim. The Negro's head finally dropped, and in 30 minutes, only the trunk of the body remained. As the fire died down, relic hunters started their search for souvenirs. Parts of the skull was carried away, parts of his body was carried away. The men who captured Morgan were then held above the heads of the mob while their pictures was taken. The last words of the doomed man, other than the incoherent mutterings he made in prayer, were, "Tell my wife goodbye." Chicago Record Herald, September 29, 1902. Burn a Negro by system. This is in Corinth, Mississippi, September 8, 28. In the most methodical and deliberate manner possible, Corinth devoted Sunday afternoon to burning a Negro to death. Even the victim, Tom Clark, seemed to enter into the spirit of the affair and walked unhesitatingly to the stake where he was to meet death. Even the victim, Tom Clark, seemed to enter into the spirit of the affair and walked unhesitatingly to the stake where he was to meet death. Eyeing the pile of fuel critically, he said, "I am guilty. I'm a miserable wretch. I deserve the punishment that is about to be inflicted on me." White folks lie so much. 5 minutes later, Clark was dead. The execution was carried out in accordance with a revised plan, which involved a strange mockery of mercy. Clark had confessed on Saturday, and it was decided to hang him to a telegraph pole on that afternoon. Clark, however, asked that the execution be delayed until today so that he could have a farewell interview with his mother and brother, who live in Memphis. The request was granted, much to the dismay of the newspaper correspondents who had bulletined the city papers that the execution was sure to take place that afternoon. Meanwhile, the news of the Negro's arrest and confession spread rapidly over the surrounding country, and today's incoming trains brought hundreds of people into the city to witness the execution. At noon today, it was found that the Negro's relatives could not be located, and then, as if to make the execution as spectacular as possible for the benefit of the visitors, it was decided to burn Clark. The main street of the town was ordered cleared, and it was announced that it had been decided to burn a Negro at 3:30 o'clock. This statement was met with cheers, and the crowd shifted to the place selected for the enactment of the tragedy. The Committee of 12 and many of the representative citizens of Corinth vigorously opposed burning the Negro and argued that he should be hanged. J.B. Hennon of Birmingham, Alabama, brother of Mrs. Whitfield, would not consent to this proposition and insisted that Clark should be burned. At 2 o'clock, pine faggots and larger pieces of wood were laid about an iron rod, which was driven deep into the ground, and half an hour later it was announced that all was in readiness. That sounds like a cross, don't it? At 2 o'clock, pine faggots and larger pieces of wood were laid about an iron rod, the iron rod, and you got wood laid on it, but the rod is standing in the ground so they can tie him to it. Told you we got our own Black Jesus. At 3 o'clock, the prisoner, heavily manacled, was taken from the jail by a posse of armed men and led to the east gate of the Negro Cemetery in the western part of the city. Clark made a statement saying he deserved his fate, then asked that a letter be delivered to his mother and brother. He appealed to his brother to raise his children properly, admonishing them to beware of evil company. The word was given to fire the funeral pile. The husband and brother of Clark's victim stepped forward. They applied torches, and in a moment the flames leaped upward, enveloping the Negro in smoke and fire. Soon the man's head fell forward and life became extinct. The flames were fed by the crowd until the body was burned to a crisp. Then the executioners and the crowd dispersed like nothing ever happened. Like nothing ever happened. They went home. White folks went home and talked about it and showed off their souvenirs. It was like Christmas for them. It was like Christmas for the wife that was at home, didn't want to go. And no, we're not going to go because, at some point, like in Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940, now that book explained how Kentucky, the authorities, the governor or whoever the fuck made the decision that all Kentuckians stop lynching Black men, stop burning them in the streets, stop lynching them, stop dragging them through the towns. I'm gonna recheck these books out too. Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940, and Racial Violence in the United States. I'm gonna check them out again tomorrow. And Racial Violence in Kentucky told that they were telling white Kentuckians, please stop lynching Black men. Stop burning them, dragging them through the town and shit. They would literally put a Black man on a vehicle and drag him through the whole town, 6 miles, the length of that town, however big it was. That's what they were doing to Black men and stuff. So white men didn't want to do it. Yeah, we're going to go over tonight. White men didn't want to stop doing it and stuff, but they did decide that finally, because they kept telling them, we need y'all to stop doing this. We need people to move here to Kentucky. We want Kentucky to be safe. We want Kentucky to be diverse. We need people to move here with their families, with their babies and stuff, with their businesses and stuff. We want to be a state that's safe, and you can bring your children and everybody can get along and we can repair these things right here. But white America didn't want to do it in Kentucky. But finally, white America said, okay, all right, telling us we can't do what we want to do, but you got to lynch them. For any crime, alleged crime, you got to lynch them immediately. There must be no trial. There must be no removing. You must immediately lynch them or we will. So Kentucky didn't do it. But then white people kept lynching and burning and dragging Black people. So finally Kentucky said, fine. You don't do it, we'll do it. We'll lynch them. But we got to do it privately. So, they started doing it privately. And white folk didn't like that. So they charged them. They charged them. And white people had to pay to go see them, the lynchings and stuff. All 100 white folk was in trees on top of the houses and stuff, on top of other houses, knocking bricks out of the wall and stuff so they could see the lynchings and stuff. White folk were burning down whole jails. White folk were pushing down they knocked in the whole side of a jailhouse to get to a Black man that was of an alleged crime. And come and find out afterwards, it found out that it wasn't the right Black man, that the Black man and the white woman was in a relationship. The husband found out. The husband beat the woman, beat the hell out of her motherfucking ass, beat the brakes off her goddamn ass, then said that the Black man raped her. She said that the Black man raped her, beat her and stuff, and then they went and, all of this, it was all in the books. It was all in the books. You're liars. You can't be trusted nowhere. Not with us. You cannot be trusted with us. I mean, and we reading it in these books right here. Allegedly, all of these crimes and stuff, but no, that's not the case. We're going to reread these books that we have read because I don't want y'all to be under the impression that, a crime was committed. That a crime was committed. The 2 times, I think it was 2 times, I read that a crime was committed by a black man in this book right here. And one of them was because the woman was going to tell that the black man was doing something to her. And he wasn't even doing nothing to her. He wasn't bothering her or nothing, but that's what she was going to tell and stuff. And yeah, they got into it and stuff. And I don't know if she hit him, but he hit her motherfucking ass back. Sure did. Mm-hmm. But I digress. Let's read. The word was given to follow. Let me see. Oh, the crime for which Clark was executed was the murder of Mrs. Carrie Whitfield on August the 10th last. Mrs. Whitfield, the wife of a well-known citizen, was found dead in her home, her head practically severed from her body. Now you know these is white folks' crime, especially at this time too. I mean, who else? Cause see, the white man always felt like your ass, the white woman wasn't no good, goddamn good. He couldn't trust her. He could go out and rape black women, sleep with black women, rape black men, sleep with black men, whatever he want to do. Rape dogs, cats, bears, whatever. Goddamn it, he could get his hands on. But the white woman couldn't. Now see, when her ass got out there and she went, oh yeah, she like that tall, dark, handsome stuff too. Yeah, and got to sleeping with him and stuff. And say, yeah. That's what the fuck happened with that. Diligent search failed to disclose the murders. 2 Chicago detectives were employed, but their efforts were fruitless. Several suspects were arrested, but in each case, an alibi was proven. Finally, a committee of 12 citizens were named to continue the search for the murderer. Oh, just regular old white people. You know they finna just go find a black person, honey. Last Monday, it became known that Clark had quarreled with his wife and she threatened to disclose the secret of a crime. Wait a minute now. Hold on. Okay. Last Monday, it became known that Clark had quarreled with his wife and she threatened to disclose the secret of a crime. Members of the committee visited the woman. Yeah. And she told enough to warrant belief that Clark had murdered Mrs. Whitfield. Clark was arrested yesterday and taken before the committee of 12. To the surprise of all, the Negro confessed to the murder and also told of other crimes he had committed. He stated that several years ago, he stole $1,500 from a physician at French Camp, Mississippi. New York Times, April 27, 1903. 2 white girls whipped. Ooh-wee. Honey, just lies. That's what white folks did. I'm going to get them other books, and we're going to read about it and learn because, yeah. New York Times, April 27, 1903. Now, this was in Bloomington, Indiana, on April 26. 38 unmasked men broke into a house here early today and whipped Mrs. Rebecca and Ida Stevens, white, age 13 and 16 years old, and also whipped Joe Shipley, a Negro, age 50 years old. The Stevens girls live with their mother. Shipley has a room in the house. The Negro was whipped with a barbed wire and was hit in the eye with brass knuckles. The older girl was whipped with barbed wire and the younger one with apple switches, but neither is dangerously injured. Many of the assailants was recognized and warrants will be sworn out for their arrest. Motive for the whipping appears to be local objection to a colored boarder living with a white family. And this was in 1903. New York Herald on June 8, 1903. Negro dragged from cell and tortured to death. This was in Belleville, Illinois. Sunday. With the dawn of Sunday, the full import of a wild night's work. With the dawn of Sunday, the full import of a wild night's work done by a mob of 42,000 citizens stood revealed today. David White, a Negro school teacher, who made an attempt to assassinate Charles Hurdle, the county superintendent, in his office last evening, had been taken from a supposedly impregnable jail, hanged to a telegraph pole in the center of the public square, and his body burned. 200 men armed with sledgehammers, marched up to the jail in the dead of the night and attacked the rear doors with vigor. In half an hour, the doors gave way to the repeated hammer blows. Wyatt was confined in the lower section of a double tier of cells. The chilled steel doors were cut away with chisels, and when the door swung open, a mighty shout informed the waiting crowd that the Negro was in the hands of his pursuers. Wyatt was 6 feet 3 inches tall and of powerful build. He tried to defend himself, but he was doomed to quick death. His head was mashed almost to a pulp before he was dragged out of the cell. A rope was placed about his neck, and the dying Negro was dragged downstairs and into the street. Hundreds of men jumped upon him and literally kicked and tore the bleeding form to shreds. A rope was placed about his neck, and the dying Negro was dragged downstairs and into the street. Hundreds of men jumped upon him and literally kicked and tore the bleeding form to shreds. Two men climbed the telegraph pole. Willing hands tossed up the loose end of the rope, and the battered body of the Negro quickly swung free in the air. Yelling like madmen, the mob surged around the victim. Knives was drawn, and the body was slashed right and left. Volunteer runners. Volunteer runners appeared with cans of benzene and gasoline. Signs and pickets from neighboring fences were tossed into a pyre, and flames shooting as high as the improvised gallows soon enveloped the Negro. All this was done while the mob knew that the Negro's victim was alive and had a fair chance to recover. The excuse given is that the lawless element among the Negroes has been doing all sorts of deviltry, and that it was determined to teach the Negroes a wholesome lesson. The excuse given is that the lawless element among the Negroes has been doing all sorts of deviltry, and that it was determined to teach the Negroes a wholesome lesson. Wyatt's crime was provoked by the refusal of Superintendent Hurdle to renew his teaching certificate. Wyatt's crime was provoked by the refusal of Superintendent Hurdle to renew his teaching certificate. The Negro demanded favorable action, and on its refusal, fired one shot at the superintendent while he was sitting at his desk. Really. See, the thing about it with me is I can't believe a black man is committing these crimes knowing how white folks is shitting bricks. I mean, really assaulting a white woman, shooting at a white man, knowing how white folks finna get down on it. Lies. See, lies. Give yourself, your people the benefit of the doubt, Black America. Give your ancestors the benefit of the doubt. And give me a minute here. Let me take a break, because we're going to read a while. Honey, we're going to read a while. You know, be there when I come back, or be square if you're not. But I'll be back. Good day, Larry. It's so good to see you. How you doing, young Didi? It's so good to see y'all. I just decided to come on, and yeah, I'm just gonna pause for just a few minutes. I'm just gonna pause for just a few minutes, y'all. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to refresh my Make sure I take the mute off. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read. Yeah. Just a little bit more. I feel like picking up some more books too. But I'm going to finish this little bit right here, whoever we're reading about. And we're reading about, oh, this is a new one. Belleville is complacent over horrible lynching. And this was in the New York Herald, if you want to look it up, June the 9th in 1903. Belleville, Illinois, Monday. Although the man who lynched David S. Wyatt, the Negro teacher who shot Charles Hertel, County Superintendent of Schools, on Saturday night, worked without masks for 6 hours in view of hundreds of other white people, including all the city and the county officials, and although the few men who did the actual killing are known to scores of people, it is unlikely their prosecutions will follow. State Attorney Farmer said today he had not been able to find anybody who would identify any of the lynchers. At the inquest today, no testimony which would tend to implicate anyone in the lynching could be elicited from the witnesses examined. The coroner's jury declined to wait for the arrival of all the witnesses, and after hearing 10 men, including Mayor Kern, a verdict that Wyatt met his death at the hands of parties unknown was returned. Kind of like white folks stick together today. Kind of like that. Let's maximize this again. Yeah, I went there tonight. So we at this just a little bit though. We're gonna get back to our scheduled reading. Probably not tonight. I'm sure not tonight. Yeah. In the main, Bellevue views the lynching and its attendant horrors with complacency. There were strong expressions of condemnation in all the churches yesterday, but many who are counted leading citizens, they express approval of the lynching. The men who took part in the disorder believe they are safe. Those who condemn the lynching urge that it could have easily been prevented. Not more than 15 men did the actual work of breaking into the jail and lynching the Negro. No attempt was made to defend the jail. Not a shot was fired. The authorities took no stand. Mayor Kern is understood to have given orders that no shots be fired. State Attorney Farmer resented the suggestion that the mob could have been dispersed by the use of firearms. State Attorney Farmer resented the suggestion that the mob could have been dispersed by the use of firearms. Because you can't kill a white person. No, you can't do that. It is doubtful if a lynching has ever been attended by such remarkable circumstances. The lynchers did not constitute a real mob. The mob spirit was entirely lacking. The attack on the jail was made by a comparatively small number of men predisposed to disorder who seized upon the opportunity which public indignation gave them to indulge their penchant for violence without incurring the usual risk. What risk? The mob spirit was entirely lacking. The attack on the jail was made by a comparatively small number of men who seized upon the opportunity which public indignation gave them to indulge their penchant for violence. Actively aiding them was a somewhat larger number of youths, even the youth, your white youths, y'all kids, white kids was out there. The rest of the crowd was made up of men of respectability, well-dressed women, many of them leaning on the arms of escorts. And then it was some boys and girls, young boys and girls. The sentiment of the crowd was as remarkable as its composition. It was as if all had turned out for a frolic. They had gathered for a spectacle, and they made merry over the prospect. Loud laughter greeted jokes with violent death as their theme. Yeah, loud laughter greeted jokes with violent death as their theme. Demands for blood was cheered. Women was in the front of the jail with baby carriages. There it is right there. There it is right there on page 51 in 100 Years of Lynching. The second paragraph, the last sentence. Women were in front of the jail with baby carriages. Mayor Kern, state's attorney, Farmer, and former Judge Schaefer consulted and agreed that to oppose the crowd with force would not be good policy. To oppose the crowd, the mob, with force and tell him, no, you ain't getting him, it will not be good policy for them. A suggestion was made that the fire department turn water on the crowd. Mayor Kern opposed this on the ground that it'll make people angry. Somebody rang the fire bell, however, and a hose cart dashed down the street through the crowd, reeling off hose by way of police intimidation of what it was supposed to do. The crowd calmly separated the hole into sections of convenient length and tied them into knots. The firemen went back to their house with all the hose the crowd would let them have. For an hour and a half after the assailants got inside the jail, the sounds of heavy blows were heard through the windows, which had been shattered by boys. Youths appeared frequently at the windows and shouted information meant to be humorous. The crowd was none too exacting as to the quality of humor offered, and each sally about the progress made toward the nigger was greeted with cheers and laughter. It was 20 minutes to 12 o'clock when the self-appointed announcers rushed to the windows and shouted gleefully, "We've got him! They're taking him to the square," somebody shouted a few minutes later, and the well-dressed throng moved with many a jest toward the square to see the big show. And it said many of them well-dressed, just like the men in the Red Summer, the lynching of Willie Brown. The crowd in the jail had broken into Wyatt's cell. He had fought fiercely for his life. A blow from a sledgehammer failed him. A rope was tied around his neck. He was dragged out into the corridor, down the stairs, and into the jail yard, then into Spring Street, up to Main Street, and to the center of the square. A man riding on a white horse led the way to an electric light pole in the square. The end of the rope was thrown over it. The body was drawn up above the heads of the crowd, who cheered and waved their hats. Men on the pole kicked Wyatt in the face, pissed on him, spit on him. The swing form was stabbed repeatedly because he was hanging up there. He couldn't do nothing. They were just stabbing him. Mutilations followed. They just went up, just couldn't think, cutting his fingers and ears and stuff, just stabbing him wherever, in the eye, the stomach, and the leg, and the feet, just. Kerosene was bought and poured over the body, and it was set on fire. All while the crowd cheered. The rope burned through and the body fell. More kerosene was poured on the body as the flames slowly consumed it. Mayor Kern telephoned to the police station half an hour later and ordered that an undertaker be directed to remove what remained of the body. This was done. Police and other officials say they could have held the jail if they had used their revolvers, but they did not do so because they were afraid somebody would be hurt. Sheriff Thompson was out of the city. Mr. Hertel's condition is improving. His recovery is expected. He greatly regrets the lynching. Chicago Record Herald, June the 24th, 1903. Fiery sermon by pastor. This was in Wilmington, Delaware, and there was a massacre in Wilmington, I believe. I don't know if it was Delaware. June the 23rd, a fiery sermon by a pastor was blamed today for the lynching last night of George White, a Negro, accused ravisher and murderer of Miss Helen S. Bishop. Let me back up to this other page here. It's just a small paragraph. A mob of 2,000 persons tonight took George White, the Negro suspected of murdering 17-year-old Helen S. Bishop last Monday, from the workhouse, burned him at the stake, and riddled his body with bullets. Guards attempted to repulse the crowd, inadvertently shot a man and a boy. Now, this is the next story, because you know it's more stories from different newspapers. The Reverend Robert A. Elwood, pastor of the Olivet Presbyterian Church, preached a sensational sermon on the probable lynching of White last Sunday evening. The text of the sermon was widely distributed, and this was believed today to have had much influence in the lynching of White, which followed. Reverend Elwood took his text from Corinthians 5:13. Therefore, put away from among ourselves that wicked person. In referring to the urgency for a speedy trial for the Negro, Reverend Elwood said, I call your special attention to that part of my text found in the Constitution which says, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. On the day of this terrible crime, the officials arrested a man supposed to be guilty. He was taken before a magistrate and held without bail. Tonight he is in jail with armed guards parading about for his protection, waiting until the middle of September. Is that speedy? Is that even constitutional? Now, this the pastor. Oh, honorable judges, call the court, establish a president, and the girls of this state, the wives of our homes and the mothers of our fireside, and our beloved sisters, will not be sorry, and neither will you. And honorable judges, if you do not hear and heed these appeals, and that prisoner should be taken out and lynched, then let me say to you with full realization of the responsibility of my words, even as Nathan said to King David of old, after his soldiers had killed Uriah, thou art the man. So I would say to you, the responsibility for lynching would be yours for delaying the execution of the law. If the judges insist that the trial of the murderer of Miss Bishop be delayed until September, then should he be lynched? I say yes. The father of the murder victim is also a minister. Prior to the lynching, the Reverend E.R. Bishop had issued a letter begging the people to permit the law to take its course. And so this is her mom, her father. He is a pastor too. Reverend Bishop's letter said, dear friends, Mrs. Bishop and our children join me in this expression of the deepest gratitude for your Christian sympathy and tender ministrations in our agonizing grief. Though comparatively strangers, you have been as dear friends whose hearts have been proved with you by years of acquaintance. You have helped us bear our sorrow, made hundredfold more intense by the most revolting crime. Our cup of bitterness is full, and we ask you to join us in our appeal to all citizens of the Commonwealth to refrain from violence. The officers believe they have all the evidence necessary to convict the prisoner. And without doubt, as soon as the court can reach his case, he will receive his sentence and pay the full penalty for his atrocious crime. If he can be legally tried, this will be so. By all means, let justice be swift. But if not, then let us wait calmly until the law in its majesty may remove the vile wretch from society. In the meantime, the culprit is shut up with his guilty conscience, a hell of itself, and knows he must meet the demands of law and justice with his life. Any other course of procedure would bring a kind of glory for those in his class, would intensify the suffering of the afflicted family, possibly endanger the life of a delicate woman, and certainly would dishonor the laws of our Commonwealth. Let us not try to atone for one crime, no matter how hellish, by committing another. Sincerely yours, E.A. Bishop. Mrs. Bishop, mother of the murder girl, is in a state of extreme nervousness. White was put to death within a few hundred yards of the Bishop home, and the glare of the fire and howls of the mob could be plainly seen and heard at the house. Prior to the lynching, though, White was incarcerated in the Newcastle County Workhouse. A crowd of several hundred white people advanced into the reception hall and demanded admittance to the jail. Their demand was refused by the guards, and they were deluged by a stream of water by the firefighting equipment in the institution. This did not lessen the eagerness of the besiegers, who immediately began an assault upon the iron doors. Chief of Police Black shouted to the crowd, "The first man that comes into this corridor will be killed." The leader of the mob grasped one of the heavy sledgehammers, and as he attacked the steel grating, he cried, "Then you had better kill me for the first one." Another man shot out the cluster of incandescent lights in the festival. The mob and guards exchanged shots, but did not aim at each other. Peter Smith, a 12-year-old boy, and another youth, name not known, were wounded during the fusillade. Smith was shot in the back. The bullet which struck him evidently came from a pistol in the crowd, as it is claimed by the prison warden that his guards fired over the head of the lynchers. Smith is not expected to live. The other injured youth was shot in the nose and is expected to live. While about 300 men and boys were storming the front of the jail, several thousand sympathizers was lined up outside. And while they took no active part in the attack, they were plainly in favor of lynching White. After forcing their way into the lower corridor on the west wing, the crowd surged up the front row of cells on the third floor. The leaders, who had the sledges and riveting cutting appliances, were calm and determined and cut straight to the cell of the man they was after. There were no other doors. That no other doors were demolished is due to the leaders, who told Chief Black and Warden Missouri that they intended to get the Negro if they had to break every steel door in the place, and argued that it was a useless expense to the county to have unnecessary damage done to the property. The officials saw the strength of this argument and informed the leaders that White was in cell number 13 on the front row, third story of the building. This was enough, and the door to this row of cells was at once attacked. "This is the only door between us and our man," shouted one of the mob. "And if you will stand back, we will cut it open in an hour." It was just 22 minutes of 12 o'clock when the mob, with yells and curses and cheers, rushed into the corridor past the cell doors of the frightened prisoners to the cell occupied by White. Here more trouble was encountered, for in smashing the lever box, the mechanism was damaged and the door to the cell of White could not be opened. Warden Missouri then rushed into the cell corridor to prevent the mob taking the wrong man. He saw that the men with hammers were about to demolish the cell door and told them how to disconnect the door so that it'll be operated. As soon as the door to White's cell slid open, there was a deafening cheer and crowds of, "Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him! Hang him! Don't hit him! Burn him at the stake! Take him to the place where he murdered Miss Bishop! For we have driven a stake there and we'll burn him. We've all waited for this. Don't take it from us." They just yelling. Just want to see the torture. Got to be a part of the torture. White fought desperately for his life and knocked down the first man who approached him. One of the leaders of the mob threw his arms around the Negro, thus protecting him. At this time, the narrow corridor was so tightly packed by the mob that it was impossible to get the prisoner out. A rope was tied around his legs, and he was lowered to the mob below, who dragged him to the previously selected site at Price's Corner. When he found that his case was hopeless, the Negro confessed to having committed the deed and did not spare himself in telling of it. He prayed fervently to God and seemed anxious to do as much talking as possible in the few minutes he had to live. Another strong rope was brought, and the Negro was wrapped in his cords from shoulders to feet. His lips were moving while this was going on, and he seemed to be trying to finish his statement. The crowd was in a hurry to get through with his work and called out for the executioners to hasten. After the rope had been adjusted, the Negro was fastened to the stake, and the torch was applied to the straw. The flames leaped up and licked the man's bare hands. He was held erect by one of the lynchers until his clothing was burning fairly, when he was pushed into the bed of the fire. He rolled about and his contortions were terrible, but he made no sound. Suddenly the ropes on his legs parted and he sprang from the fire and started to run. A man struck him in the head with a piece of fence rail and knocked him down. Willing hands threw him again into the flames. He rolled out several times, but was promptly returned. While this was going on, shouts, cheers, and gibes went up from the crowd. All the crowd was loving him. While he was running and crawling out of the fire, trying to get out of the fire, they just kept dragging him and putting him back in there, hitting him and beating him and pushing him and kicking him back into the fire. The crowd of people, all of them, they were just going at it like a concert. Exactly like a motherfucking concert. When the Negro had ceased to show signs of life, the body was placed on its back and fuel was piled up on it. and a roaring fire was soon consuming it. The Reverend C.H. Thomas of Belleville, Illinois, speaking at Quinn Chapel last night, expressed grave doubts of White's guilt. The only evidence against White, he said, was the testimony of a woman that a knife found near the spot where the crime was committed had belonged to him. That is no evidence. And this here is Whites are called demons. Wilmington, Delaware, June 28th. The lynching of Negro George F. White was the chief topic in two churches here today. In the Negro church, some violent sentiments were expressed by a Negro pastor, and in a white church, the utterances of a week ago by the white pastor were endorsed by the congregation. In the First American Methodist Episcopal Church, the Reverend Montrose W. Thornton said, "The white man, in face of his boasted civilization, stands before my eyes tonight, the demon of the world's races, a monster incarnate, and in so far as the Negro race is concerned, seems to give no quarter. The white man is a heathen, a fiend, a monstrosity before God, and is equal to any act in the calendar of crime. I would sooner trust myself in a den of a hyena as in his arms." With a court of law and officers of law in his hands, the despised Negro can expect no mercy, no justice, nor protection. The Negro is unsafe anywhere in this country. He is the open prey at all times of barbarians who know no restraint, and they will not be restrained. There is but one part left for the persecuted Negro when charged with crime and when innocent. Be a law unto yourself. You are taught by this lesson of outrage to save yourself from torture at the hands of the blood-seeking public. Save your race from insult and shame. Be your own sheriff. Be your own court and jury, as was the outlaw Tracy. Die in your tracks, perhaps drinking the blood of your pursuers. Booker T. Washington's charity, humanity, advice of forgiveness, love, industry, and so on will never be reciprocated by white men. Not to you, black folk, not to you. Prove us wrong, Kathy. I'm just saying. Morning Row, prove us wrong. The Reverend Robert A. Elwood, the Presbyterian minister who has come in for much criticism for his sermon of last Sunday night, in which he suggested lynching in case the Negro escaped speedy punishment at the hands of the law, did not refer to the lynching or the criticisms today. These criticisms were answered by his congregation today when resolutions were read during the services expressing firm belief in the pastor's honesty, integrity, and Christian character. Thousands of persons visited today the scene where White was burned. They came from all the smart towns in the vicinity, and hundreds of them journeyed from Chester, Pennsylvania, and Philadelphia. The burning took place in a freshly plowed field, about 50 feet from the roadway, which was hidden by high bushes. The field had been tramped almost as smooth and hard as asphalt by the thousands of persons that had visited the farm. It was so many. Honey, that field was as smooth as a road you can roller skate on. You know how them roads be so smooth once they tar them and smooth them out with that big old rolling thing? That's how it was. It was so smooth from all of them. And you know they were so giddy and high about it and stuff. They were just jumping and yeah. Ooh, honey. The only evidence that remains of the work of the mob are 3 cobblestones, on one of which this inscription has been placed in indelible ink. Here is all that remains of White. Oh boy, the bushes behind which the murder was committed have been cut down for a distance of several yards and carried away by relic hunters. They even want the bushes. Many of those who visited the scene today, among them a large number of young men, carried away a sprig or a branch of the bushes and put it in their yard, I guess. But I guess that's it. I'm gonna mark this page here because I might have to go back to this book right here. I'm sure I will. I am motherfucking sure I will because yeah, this gonna be read. Yeah, we gonna read. We gonna learn about this. Everybody gonna learn about this. You gonna know Richard Coleman's name. You gonna know John Pendleton's name. George White, George Reed. You gonna know their names. Oh yes, baby. John Henderson, Ballard Crutchfield, George Ward, Elijah Clark. Yeah, you gonna know John Sanders and Henry Askew and Lewis Rice, George Well, and Sam Hope. Yeah, get your ass down. You know, Sam Hope. It came to be known. It was Sam Hope at first. The newspapers. See, they didn't have no respect for black men. They took their name, just named them whatever. So many of them didn't even have a name. They just unknown Negro lynch. But the newspaper started out as Sam Holt, Holt. Then another newspaper thought it would be fun. Let's fuck with them a little bit. There, let's just change it around a little bit. So they made it Sam Hose, Hose. However, his real name was Tom Wilkes. That was his real name, Tom Wilkes. And what they did to him and stuff, it was just so terrible. You know, white folks, I don't see how you could go this long and now you trust to have some type of animosity you don't understand. Oh, honey, we just beginning. We are just beginning to look at you. So the best thing you can do is look at yourself too. Not here. Not here. Yeah, take your ass somewhere else for your healing because it won't be found here. It will not be found here. Honey, baby child. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not gonna get started reading this right here. But the evening before, Williams, a massive, imposing man with a boxer's build, a bald head, a piercing gaze, and stentorian delivery, has spoken eloquently at a showing of Acres of Skin, the documentary based upon Alan Hornblood's incisive book of the same title, an expose of the decades of Klickman's medical experimentation at Holmesburg. Woo-wee! And look at the writing. It's so little. There's going to be some good reading right here. We're going to learn so much right here. Because you know, right today, that's an experiment with Adriana Smith. Adriana Smith. When she was having a headache and she was pregnant. And I think she had a aneurysm or something. I'm not really sure. But they kept her body alive for that baby, that 8-week baby. 8-week-old pregnant that she was, yeah. And it's like an experimentation. Her family want her. Her family want her body. You know, I mean, the baby, that should be the family's decision. The baby is not in a live body. This is not a baby that was right on the cusp of being born, because if it was after 6-7 months, you can take the baby. The baby is big enough to take the baby then. But to have this baby growing where there's no heartbeat, there's no mother's voice, there's no mother's touch, there's no familiarity of life growing to that baby. And I guarantee you that baby will be watched throughout life just to see what would become of that baby that was in that vessel, and it was just a void. It was just a void because they were giving the baby the nutrients and the care and stuff through the IVs and shit like that. So now they can't be trusted. White folks just cannot be trusted. You know, y'all know how I feel. Everybody know how I feel. I ain't lied about it. I'm not going to lie about it. Where the lie? Where's the lie? If anybody think it's a lie, sex, honor, and human consumption. Lilburn Lewis, a Kentucky slave owner, owned a considerable number of slaves who he drove constantly, fed sparingly, and lashed severely. According to abolitionist Lydia Marie Child, Lewis was a typical plantation owner whom most in the local community probably respected and looked to as a model, wealthy citizen in terms of his treatment of his slaves. In 1826, he would commit crimes against his slaves that would cause his community to ostracize him and pursue legal restraint. He committed suicide while awaiting criminal trial. It is hard to say from the evidence if George, a young recalcitrant slave on Lewis's plantation, was a favorite or if Lewis consciously chose him, as many masters did, as the object of ritualized violence and as an emblem of his manhood and noble social stature. All we know for sure is that George, like many on the plantation, often went hungry, suffered the lash too often, and grew to despise and resist his condition of bondage. George provoked his master's penchant for punishment by frequently running away in addition to disobeying. Sent to the spring one day to collect water in an elegant pitcher, George made the horrid mistake of letting the pitcher fall and standing by and watching as it dashed to shivers on the rocks. As punishment for George's transgression, his master bound him to a wooden plank and, in the manner of a butcher, quartered him with an axe and cooked his severed body parts and pieces of flesh over a billowing fire. In preparation for this ritualized punishment, Lewis gathered all of the slaves on the plantation into the most roomy Negro house, bolted the door, and told those assembled that the design of this meeting was to teach them to remain at home and obey his orders. The ritual begins with George's younger brother helping the master bind the slave to a wooden bench. Oh, yeah, well, that's the delectable Negro. I just turned to a page and yeah, well, we'll remember that when we do get to it. But yeah, let's process all of this tonight. I know I got some processing to do because this is it. Yeah, anybody that bring their motherfucking ass with some goddamn bullshit, I don't give a fuck. Bring it. I got my black Bibles right here for your motherfucking asses. And I ain't scared of neither one of you. None of you. It ain't a goddamn thing you can do to stop this. From nobody. Nowhere. Not in this country, not in the next country, not in the other country, not in that country, not in that country. America is getting her judgment. White folks, if you got any type of love in your heart, because I don't know about your soul and your spirit. I can't even say if you got either one of those. But in your heart, if it's really a heart and it's beating and stuff, you got any love in it and stuff, you need to try to save your people. Think about your youth, your kids and stuff. Your kids. Think about your kids' future and stuff, not your ass. We know what your ass like, Karen, Sabrina, Ken, Brad, Kathy. We know what y'all asses like and stuff, but for your kids and stuff, try to right the wrong that your ancestors did. I ain't got the answers for you. George Fraser already told me that shit. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you, honey. All I can do if you sit over there and keep your mouth shut, maybe you'll glean a little something about this. Because I done cried. I don't plan on crying no more. Oh, I cried them first few books. But that's what it is, what it is. It is what it is. They wasn't even crying. All of them wasn't crying and stuff. They were sad. They were hurt, heartbroken. Y'all know you're doing wrong. But yeah, I'm done crying about it. I'll cuss your ass out in a goddamn minute. I sure the fuck will. I don't mind cussing, goddamn it. But maybe something in these right here, the same way it's going to heal me and my people. Maybe it'll give white folks an inkling to try to heal them too. I don't know, and I really don't care. The other people, whoever come along to deal with them, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself because they ain't nothing to play with. They ain't nothing to turn a blind eye to or 3 eyes, 2 eyes, or nothing. Don't turn your backs on them. Keep your focus on them. Whatever they doing and stuff, I don't give a damn how complacent, general, forgiving, loving, kind, just help you out with everything that they may seem to be. Because it's always an underlying ulterior motive with white people when they need someone to comfort them, to make them feel safe, to make them feel like they are superior and they got something to offer to the world, to the life, to humanity, to mankind. They got something to offer to the animal kingdom, and none of that's true. They got to find that. Whereas you can see other people, even my people, we ain't got a motherfucking thing now. But you know we got all to offer to the world. You can look at any group of people out here. They got something to offer. a benefit to offer to the world, to humanity, to life. White America ain't found theirs because they too busy stealing, robbing, killing, raping, just manifesting all kind of shit, and you ain't gave yourself a chance to really create, invent, contribute something to life. I mean, now these 5G towers and shit, who the fuck want that? That's not pro-life. That is not pro-life. Let me show you what I found today, and then we finna get on out of here. And you know, family, you know to process all of this because that's what we do. 5G tower, this big huge ass 5G tower right over here by Piker School, where children go to this school. Y'all some son of a bitches. This was in 2021, I think. Knowing damn well when you boot them things up and turn them on, them children ain't gonna have no kind of protection against that shit. Now, why y'all got this 5G tower, this big, huge ass 5G tower over here by Piker School, where children go to this school? Y'all son of a bitches. You got the motherfuckers up by nursing homes. You got them up by schools. You got them up on top of people, apartment buildings and shit. I'm just like, what the fuck? I think that was 2021 or maybe earlier before then. When was CV, the jabber? After we came out from lockdown, that's when we started seeing them motherfuckers and stuff, whenever that was, but it was a few years ago. But this phone right here is pulling up all my old videos and shit like that. And I knew I had some. That's a big one right there, and it just happened to be by school. But yeah, I love you, Black people. I love you to life and afterlife. This is just a new era. We got to get this new knowledge. Everything is being revealed for a reason. And we didn't do this intentionally. We didn't set out to try to expose white America and to try to divide us all. We didn't set out to do that. Mother Nature, cosmic energy said it's time. It is motherfucking time. That's what brought all of this to light. Not us. We didn't bring all this to light. Well, nobody really looking to bring all of this to the forefront now. Mother Gaia, cosmic energy, my ancestors said it's time. It's time because we so traumatized, we need help. We need help right now because we so traumatized from all of this. And the reason why we need help from cosmic energy and Mother Gaia is because white people done put up these 5G towers now. White folks, they still been creating agendas against you, Black America. You got 5G towers. You got the jabbers. You got Sophia and them robots coming out and stuff. You got flying cars, drones. Ain't nothing you eating is safe to eat anymore. You got so many additional arrows in your back. And so Mother Gaia and cosmic energy know that you're so traumatized, they got to come to your rescue. They got to come to your rescue. And, I know they are tampering with the weather. But, honey, Mother Gaia, cosmic energy, that's why it rains so much. And it's going to continue to do that. Whatever white America use their machinations for, all these machines and that they done built up and shit, whatever they use it for, it's going to overload. Because Mother Gaia going to run that shit straight through. Woo! As soon as it start raining, it's just going to dump a whole bunch of water and shit. Earthquakes, do some earthquakes. Them earthquakes, honey, they're going to be so huge, folks just going to be falling in. Folks just going to be falling in the earthquakes and shit. It ain't going to be like that movie on Netflix or Tubi talking about 100. People that fell off in that crater, and then the other people that was up there had to find a way to get down there and go see them and try to get them back up. There ain't going to be none of that. None of that bullshit. No, not for white folks, it ain't. Now, Black people, you come back to life if you want to. But if you get caught and you ain't out the way, then yeah, your ass going too. Your ass gonna get some of it too. So that's why we got to get right. Be where you're supposed to be. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Your ass ain't gonna be over there nowhere, goddamn it, nearby. What's that? you know, where the tar pits is at. And they like it's like on a major fault line or something like that, and it's got, you know, it's a volcano or something out there. If your ass ain't out there, then you ain't gotta worry about it. When the motherfucking earth just crack open and everybody fall off in you. I'm just saying. If your ass ain't up on them mountains and stuff, when the motherfucking explode at the bottom, I'm talking, we're going hiking, yeah, we're gonna go hiking. No, we're just gonna go boating on the near lake. Go on with them, man. Go on with them if you want to. So yeah, get yourself right. Now is the time. I didn't do it. I didn't call it now, because honey, if it was up to me, honey, we would have been knowing all of this. We would be on time right now if I knew what the fuck done happened, but I didn't know. We all learning this together. And that ain't to say, I still want to reiterate that we ain't trying to harm white America. No, we just trying to get the fuck away from y'all asses. Sincerely. Seriously. Trying to get away from white America. That's it. We just trying to get away from y'all and do for us. Let's see, can you stand on your own? Take care of your own. Take care of yourself. Get y'all mind right. Or is you going to keep on stealing and lying and destructing and stuff? You know, that remains to be seen. But we can't wait and try to heal y'all no more and stuff. It's very, you know, crucial that Black America do right for us now. You know. So, yeah. I love y'all, Black America. I love you. And I ain't got no problem standing up telling how I feel about us. Fuck a motherfucker. Shit, fuck every goddamn body. You know, betrayed me, my mama, my grandmama, my daddy, my granddaddy, honorable, loving, forgiving women and men and stuff in my family. Boy, if my mama knew this right here, she'd probably say a cuss word or two herself. Maybe not, though. That was my mama. But yeah, but I will, Black America. If don't nobody else stand up and say this goddamn bullshit is wrong, I motherfucking will. And whether I lose friendship with your ass, then that's fine, because soon they turn on your black ass, you'll be back. You'll be back soon as they turn on your ass, unless you just that stubborn and go ahead and keep your ass there. And then can you put on your flip-flops if you're going to walk on me? Can you take off them 4-inch heels if you're going to walk on me? Just walk on me barefoot. Don't have on your claws and stuff. They hurt. I mean, unless your ass just give in to it and stuff, then that's you. But for me, I got to say how I feel about it. Fuck the dumb shit. I'm loyal to my ancestors. I'm loyal to my people. Same way white folks is loyal to theirs and shit. Hell, I am to mine too. I don't believe in no God. I don't believe in no Jesus. I believe in cosmic energy. If I do call on Jesus, it's that black Jesus right there on that wall. It's that black Jesus right there on that wall. We've been reading about him. We've been reading about him since I sat here. I ain't read to you about no Cesario Borgia. You ain't heard me read nothing about that man. Except for to tell y'all he a goddamn fraud. Except for to tell y'all he is a fraud. This right here is your Jesus, Black America. This is your Jesus. And you can deny him if you want to. You can reject him if you want to. But now you know. Now you know. Let it not bother you anymore to accept your own. To accept your own. That look like you, think like you, hurt like you, feel like you, deal with all of this bullshit just like you. Just like you. Them babies in the bedroom sleep with you. Them babies back there in the room sleep. Got to deal with all this shit right here. Got to deal with all of this. If your ass is willing to let white America come out the woodwork and shit and want to say this and want to say that, then you find another way to handle it. Find another way to handle it. I mean, who the fuck is they? Who the fuck is motherfuckers that do shit like this and then don't try their best, don't try their all to make it right? Who does that? So, you know, yeah, so I got to be loyal to me and mine. You know, friends, my motherfucking ass. I don't need no friends. You know, I don't need no friends for that. I'm not here for your likes. I'm not here for y'all likes. You ain't got to give me a goddamn dime or a dollar. If you want to, fine. I'll go buy another book. I'll go buy some books with it. Because we here to learn. I'm here to teach what I'm learning. I didn't know about all of this. I didn't. So I want us to know what's going on. What's going on. And I'm teaching it. I'm learning it. I'm learning this. We learning this so we can see why we ain't getting along. What's stopping us from coming together? We at a most crucial time right now, Black America, what we need to be doing for us. We need to be building for us, making sure we got somewhere safe, some shelter where we need to take cover. We can be without worrying about white America gnawing on our ass. You gonna have white America gnawing on your ass and shit. I mean, I'm just saying. It don't make no sense. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm motherfucking here. I will not leave my grandbabies, my great grandbabies, your grandbabies, your great grandbabies. Who you think our grandbabies gonna be with? Who you think the greatest is with? Us with them? You think my grandbabies gonna reach the greatest that they can ever reach and have in this society, in this world with white folks and white kids? The way they teaching their kids? No, it ain't gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. We're gonna have to heal things and fix things for our kids to be able to get along. Ain't no need none of their asses being jealous of each other because your hair like this, your hair like that, and you teaching the kids this and teaching the kids that. They all need to know what's going on, what's going on, what's happening with us. Because ain't nobody, they gonna eventually stop asking, what happened to us? What happened to black folks? They're gonna eventually stop asking, and you know white folks ain't gonna tell them. Then you got some sellout black folks that ain't gonna tell them. So yeah, we gotta do it. It's gonna be us that's gonna have to do this. Yeah, I ain't politically correct. Nope, I ain't got your high school diploma. I didn't reach your religious pinnacle, your educational pinnacle, your political pinnacle. None of that bullshit. Sure didn't, honey. I'm just here with some books. My common sense. Yep. And I love y'all. Yeah, let me get on out of here and stuff, because honey, we ain't never been on till like 3:30. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so. But yeah, but I'll see y'all tomorrow if the ancestors willing on the next page. And I love you too, Larry. I love you so much. Yep, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I sure am. Shit, they can kiss my motherfucking ass. Shit, hell, I didn't come here to be sent off by somebody else. Where the lie at? Maybe if I were lying, then I'd be like, yeah, well, let me go on and get off of here. But where the motherfucking lie? Where is the lie? See, me, when I know I'm doing the right thing, I do the right thing. I don't give a damn who it is. Me and my mama won't be talking for a few weeks. We won't be talking for a few weeks till she be like, well, face fine, just going to do it. I won't be there. There's my mama right there. Well, I'm not coming. And so, you know. But other than that, anybody else kiss my motherfucking ass, because I really don't care at this point, because everybody and their mama should have been trying to right this wrong right here. Now they done brought everybody else over here into the country so that they can further ignore, deny, reject, shit on, piss on Black America. That's it. Yeah, but it ain't gonna happen because, honey, me, I got something to say about it. I'm just saying, I love y'all and peace and power to the